January 15th, year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to season 2, episode 7 of the Recess Bell Show. Joshua Umahi is your host, joined today by Justin, Greenberg, and Kory. David, what's up, fellas?
How are you, Josh? Good to see you.
I'm great, bro. I'm great. It's been a stressful week, but you know what? I'm happy to be just on this stream and I can turn my brain off for 2 hours and talk shit with my guys. What's good, Kory? How you been?
Everything's good. Question: is y'all volume a little low?
Is my volume low? See, now, wouldn't this be something to bring up during the pre-show meeting that we had? Wouldn't that be?
It just happened. What's that? I'm gonna come out and then come back and pause.
All right, Kory. Incredible. Ah, man, Justin, though. I feel like, yeah, we did a show last week, but I feel like we both been doing our own thing, man. How you been? You have a best of the week for us? What's the best thing that happened to you this week?
You know, the best thing is obviously a movie that I saw in theaters, and I was very shocked that it was something that I enjoyed because it looked like the dumbest movie of all time. It's a movie called Better Man. I don't know if you've seen the previews of this monkey that's a singer.
Wait a minute. No, because I haven't heard of the movie. The name didn't ring a bell, right?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking now, and I'm thinking to myself, why do I remember just seeing mad videos and pictures of a monkey?
Yeah, it's like this. It's this
like,
fever dream. So it's based on the singer Robbie Williams, who is really famous in England, but he's like not known in the United States. He had a few hits in the 90s, but they created this $100 million movie about his career. And instead of it being him portraying himself, they have him as a monkey, sort of like a Planet of the Apes thing, like a CGI, ape or monkey. I don't know the difference, but it's baffling that they made this movie. It cost a lot of money, like I mentioned, and it's making no money. But surprisingly, it's one of the best movies I've seen in quite some time. It's insane.
wow. How often does that happen for you? Like, you see a trailer of a movie or you see the promo and it's like, nah, this is ass. Like,
Usually, I feel like I could tell right away, like this is going to be terrible. But every now and then, I'm surprised. Go ahead, Kory.
No, I was gonna say I was noticing that same thing about that movie. But it's like a lot of people, Americans, was like, "Why are y'all trying to promote this? Why are y'all trying to get this over?" And you had a lot of people from England and Britain. It was just like, if you actually watch the movie, it's actually a good movie. And then I had a couple of people on Twitter who actually went to go see the movie. It was like, I may have been wrong. I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. It was like it was pretty good.
It's rated R, which is like the most shocking thing ever. So it's just this monkey that's like doing heroin and like having sex and dropping F-bombs. And it's just like, it's so baffling that, if you were to do this type of movie, you'd think it would be like a PG movie because, it's a funny monkey. It's singing like, so I don't understand what studio decided to do this. That all being said, like I said, I couldn't recommend it more.
I got the whole principle of the idea. It's like, it's necessary. It's not necessarily how he sees himself. It's how he thinks the world sees him.
Yeah. I mean, there's symbolism to it, but it's just why. I mean, the movie would have cost a fraction of the money if they just hired an actor to portray him, or he played himself instead of, making this. It is very good CGI, but it's a baffling decision, and it's going to be one of those movies that people don't even give the chance. But I saw the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics love it, and the audience loved it even more. So I was like, I'm going to give it a chance. And I'm very happy.
I wonder if it's going to make its money back.
No, not even close. It cost over $100 million, and I think it made $4 million. So it's going to lose this company hundreds of millions of dollars.
Is that globally, or is that just in the U.S.?
I think that's internationally, everything worldwide. It's not going to make its money back. But but definitely see it. Who knows if it could be one of the year's best at the end of the year? But right now, it's definitely in the contention.
Is it up there with the Stubsons?
No, it's not. It's a different type of movie, but it's a simpler movie, I think, to see. It's more of a straightforward story. and I think audiences would be more accepting of this movie Better Man than The Substance, which I think is more of a cerebral type of film. They're both fantastic movies, just completely different. But Substance is more up my alley. But there was one issue I had with this movie Better Man, and it was during the credits. They're playing a song by Robbie Williams. You know, that's the guy. And the song sounds exactly like a song by Jim Croce, who's an artist that died in the 70s. And I interviewed his son a couple of years ago. And it's just like a beat for beat remake of the song. And I shit like that really pisses me off. Like I don't enjoy having someone that I admire have their work stolen.
Well, good question. What if that person is being paid off that song, and not due to the fact that the movie just came out, it actually has people going to figure out what the sample was, and he actually gets paid off.
I looked into it. There's no recognition of Jim Croce, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lawsuit that will be happening from this. I have looked into it briefly, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, are they covering the song? And then it's just completely different lyrics. And then a few people on Reddit pages were discussing the matter, and it seems like it probably will end up being a lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, it's appropriate that you're talking about this, Justin, Mr. Film Reel himself. And once again, thank you for everybody that's in here listening so far. Hope to have a great show for y'all. Getting into a lot of topics that I don't even know if I'll have the time for in 2 hours. I mean, we'll try to make magic work and see what we can do. But some of the stuff in the news cycle this week, and I know I say that every week, but this week in particular with the NFL playoffs, some of the stuff happening in basketball, college football, not just on the field, but off the field, and obviously the whole TikTok ban that we're going to get into. Now, the inauguration, absolutely, the inauguration, and then I was actually going to use that to lead into the whole TikTok ban situation. So the inauguration is set for Monday, the 20th, but this ban that was set in motion, it's been set in motion since really 2017 as far as the United States is concerned, but it's finally it appears as if it's coming to a head on Sunday, and we'll get into what all that means or what it could look like in terms of TikTok and the creators on there. I know we all have accounts. I have the Recess Spell account on there. We got Justin's sheriff on there, the sheriff. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about the impact that that's gonna have on not just us but people at large.
And we got my burner account.
Yeah, because Kory's a big burner account dude. Like, you don't really put your name and likeness out there, bro. You are a big burner account person. I've noticed that about you.
I'm just joking. My account says my name if you actually look it up. Actually, if you really look at all my accounts, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you know what my username is usually?
What's that?
It's usually Kory David or some variant of it. Like my Twitter is Kory David 6. That's it.
So you're not moving like KD where you have a main account and then you have a burner to get your real opinions out. You don't have a setup like that.
I only got like one fake thing, and it's like, and I don't intend it to be like a fake thing. I try to start like my own. You know what? I try to be like you, big bro. I tried to start my own thing, and I had an idea for like a sports like Instagram that I was just gonna post like sports updates and things like that. I forgot. I think I coined it like for the culture media. Hey,
trademark that right now. hey, anybody watching? Don't jump on. No, that's Kory's idea. Talking about lawsuits. Don't get hit with this. The Recess Bell LLC lawsuit, yo. That's Kory David's original thought. Don't go running and try to steal that.
But yeah, no, I just had that idea, and I was like, let me use it. I never like. It's just like with me and my show. With me in the show, I haven't been able to get it off the ground yet.
Hey, Kory David will have a Recess Bell show in due time. Like I was saying, Justin actually has a Recess Bell program called The Film Reel.
One of the best shows out.
One of the best shows, and I'm happy that the numbers are reflecting that. Justin is a Recess Bell celebrity at this point. The amount of listens per podcast is just outstanding as we enter 2025, and he just put out his best movies of 2024, like the entire calendar year. Justin, how many movies do you see per year? Would you say?
I try and see 100 movies in theaters every single year, which sounds insane because of how expensive movies are. But if you get the Regal Unlimited Movie Pass, or AMC has their own version of that, you only pay a set charge of like $25 a month, and you get to see unlimited movies, at least with the Regal thing. So, you see two movies, you're already, saving money essentially.
Hold up, wait. Can you repeat that?
Unlimited movies, $25 a month. So
what is that promotion?
That's the Regal Unlimited, a movie pass.
At AMC?
No, it's for Regal movie theaters. So there's one in Westbury, there's one in Lynbrook. There's a bunch of Regals out there.
Yeah,
but
he only said Regal about 5 times, Kory.
Yeah, AMC has something that's similar, but I don't think it's unlimited. I think it's a set number of movies.
Hey, you put me on to something just now. You just put me on to something.
It's worth it. Movies are so expensive. I watched a grandma and her grandson spend $68 just on food alone. That's for two of them, because they have these promotional popcorn buckets now. You guys probably seen the Dune one, which everyone wanted to have sex with.
Yo, moment in time for real. Moment in time.
I remember the what's it called? The Logan, the Wolverine, the Deadpool and Logan one.
Yeah, but the Wicked has one, Gladiator has one, and this sweet little old grandma, 5 foot tall, and her grandson, probably shorter than that, spending almost $70 just on food alone. That's not including the tickets that they got. And I think they saw an IMAX movie, so you're talking almost $120 for just one day out. It is expensive, especially with a family. It's insane.
Yay, man. All I know is I might have to get on that myself. But yeah, my point being, Justin sees a lot of movies. Like he is a movie buff through and through. So definitely check out Film Reel. Check that out on the Recess Bell. Search up Film Reel anywhere you get your podcast from.
It's R-E-A-L. R-E-A-L.
Yes. Film R-E-A-L. We don't mean to confuse y'all. It's a play on words. We do that. We get witty with it on the Recess Bell. But Justin, talk about your before we move on. Talk about your episode coming out this weekend.
Yeah, so my buddy Jonathan, who I met in a bowling league, I met his girlfriend, and then I joined their bowling league, and I had him on a few weeks ago, and he was a little bit timid at first. It's his first time doing any form of broadcasting, but he really opened up towards the end of that broadcast, and I thought, I got to get this guy back on. So I had him on, and he was amazing from the beginning to the end. We talked about, the main topic was, if we could see any 3 movies in theaters, go back in time in a time machine and see them in theaters for the first time, which 3 movies would you see? So some examples would be like Rocky or the original King Kong, just to see the audience's reactions to some of these movies, these revolutionary films. So that was the main topic at hand. But we talked about Blockbuster Video. We talked about what snacks we got at the movie theaters. It's a really good conversation.
No doubt. Once again, Film Reel, Film R-E-A-L. On anywhere you get your podcast, log on to the recessbell.com for more information.
Kory,
on that.
I got a question. If you were to see any movie for the first time ever in theaters, even if it's something that you saw already, like that Avengers movie that came out, to redo that, is there a movie that jumps to mind? Like, damn, I wish I was 10 years old and could watch this for the first time.
It's a movie that it's not oh my god, it's not really ringing a bell, but there was a movie that I remember watching that was just like so. It was a movie about like a guy in the 50s. He died right in a car accident, and he becomes an angel, and he starts watching over this boy and trying to give him like advice, trying to make him cool again. I'm trying to remember what the name of this movie was, but I watched it when I was like a kid.
Yeah,
and it was because they had like an 80s movie marathon, and I don't know why, but that movie just always stuck out to me.
So much so you can't remember the name.
Right.
I'm trying like desperately I'm trying to remember what it is because it's just not ringing. Either that or Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood again.
That's a good one. There you go.
You know what? No. You know what? I got it. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, the original Nightmare would be fun for sure. Josh, I know you're not a movie guy per se, but is there one movie that you wish you could, travel back in time and see with an audience?
Let me think about that. Like you said, I'm not the biggest movie guy. These two guys have gotten on me about my childhood in terms of being very sheltered, and I didn't really have the ability to think on my own until very tail end of middle school. But what I will say, there was a movie that the one movie that I watched back in my childhood. Y'all gonna laugh, like, of all movies, but American Gangster.
Oh, that's a good one with Denzel.
Yeah, yo, I wish I would have seen that. Like,
I saw that one in theaters. It was a good one.
Never saw it in theaters.
Justin, it's a scene I wish I was able to see like live in person.
What?
I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if it's called Usual Suspects or what movie it is.
Yeah, Usual Suspects. Yeah.
No, I'm not sure if that's the right one. What's the scene where the girl, crosses over her legs?
That's I know, with Sharon Stone. Yeah.
I wish I would be able to see what people's reaction was to that scene.
That was one of the most paused moments on the VHS back in the day, because you see her, her area.
That and you remember the movie Showgirls with Elizabeth Hurley?
Yes.
What people would be reacting to, because people who grew up on Saved by the Bell, what would their reaction be to watching them? Like, oh my God, why is she doing this?
Yeah, the movie's insane.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Sensational.
I've told y'all, I'm definitely gonna commit myself to watching as many movies as I can, not just HBO Max, Netflix, and all that, but I'm gonna definitely make a concerted effort to get out to the theaters. I have my eyes on Den of Thieves 2. That's out now.
You've been seeing stuff though. You saw a few things last year. We were talking.
Yeah, y'all. You know what? This is why I appreciate y'all, and this is why I appreciate the Recess Bell as a whole, because just as I try to put people onto things and information and all that, y'all be putting me onto cool things I would otherwise overlook. So that's the cool part about what we do. Once again, I don't mean to be a company man. Can you be a company man if you own the company? Is that a thing? No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're just you're the man in charge. You're praising yourself, but it's warranted.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel a little better about my growling narcissism. That makes me feel better about it. Kory, real quick, a best of the week.
Do you still hear an echo?
Kory's adding my text now, but I think it's better now, bro.
Okay.
I think it's better now.
My
best of the week, bro. What you got?
Ooh. My best of the week might be LeVar Ball going 3 for 3 and LiAngelo signing a $13 million record deal. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa. The fact that he is able to be like, hey, I got a kid who signed an $80 million deal, which he already garnered over $100 million in the NBA, and another kid who already signed a $200 million contract, and my third one who just signed a slight $8 million contract. You gotta give it up.
It took a minute for Jello, you know what I mean? LaMelo and Lonzo in the NBA.
Hey,
that wasn't quite Jello's. It wasn't his journey to have. But
if I'm him, I'm still trying to go to the G League. You know why? On the NBA, I might try to make. I'm gonna try to beat Master P's record.
Kory, how insane how insane is it? Let me just ask you this: that LiAngelo Ball could not just revive World Star, because it was a World Star exclusive, that track, when it dropped, and World Star has been dormant for years, you know that. So how wild would it be for Jello Ball to not just revive World Star, but Def Jam as well?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that's the golden boy that does it?
Yeah, if I'm him, this is what I'm doing. Listen, if Jello's listening or if anybody's listening, I'm going to a simple format. If I'm releasing an album, it has at least 7 to 8 tracks on it. Nothing crazy. No like 10 or 12 deluxe. Just something short that people can digest. And I'm doing it to the effect of I want like if people are mocking me in the fact of saying that I have an old school vibe to myself, I'm gonna lean into that. I'm gonna get Nelly. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna look at the format of how Nelly formatted his album. Because most rappers nowadays they don't really go back to that old school way of thinking. Where it's like, okay, you got a couple of thug songs, but you got like maybe like one love song on there, and just like that. Because I think there's a pattern of what he could do, and the fact that I do feel like that was a misstep of him releasing it on World Star, because I'm like, he got like what, close to 7 million views on that thing right now, or 8.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if you would have put that on your own YouTube, you know how much you could have probably generated for yourself. I hope he has a partnership with YouTube.
You would hope so, but
I mean, World Star.
Here's the thing. I hope, and I had this conversation with somebody else the other day. I hope that he doesn't feel the pressure to keep rolling out hit after hit after hit.
Nah.
I really hope he lets Tweaker breathe a little bit, and then you can lock in. I think Lonzo actually tweeted a similar thing when it came to
Josh, if he's smart, this is what he does. Okay, next week you release the I would say you either release the video or you release a remix. And make sure you have like a Nelly, a Boosie, a couple of old school rappers on it. That's about it. And then you release your next single, which is the one that Lonzo previewed in the locker room. So you got a good like 4 to 5 weeks of like, keeping people's interest like high. But if you really wanted to, he really don't. After this, he really don't got to do nothing. He already still got paid. He already still getting money from his brothers and stuff, so he's straight regardless.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be straight. I agree. But Kory, you might have to apply to be his agent with that logic. That wasn't bad.
Hey, I'm trying to tell people.
All right, let's jump right into what we're here to talk about. Like I said, a lot to get to. NFL playoffs. We got the wild card weekend that just passed. We have the divisional round 2 preview. We got NBA topics to talk about. Jimmy Butler, what's he doing in terms of his trade request away from Miami? Apparently, he has no joy anymore playing in Miami. I don't understand that, but it's his thing. It's his story. Who am I to judge? And then other things as well. But yeah, go ahead, Kory.
Hey, I'll see that recommendation. I'll see Shrek again. Shout out to Hershey.
Yeah, shout out to Nessa. Tuned in on the show. I mean, yeah, that's her online stage name. You know what I mean? You wasn't.
Oh yeah, I was trying like what? I couldn't see the picture clearly. I'm like, huh?
And they got
once again
a new Shrek movie coming out. I want to say next year. They got pushed back to December, but that's gonna break records. I think for animated movies. You
know what movie needs to come out again? You know who needs to come out with another movie, even though he's older? Yeah, I want to see another Austin Powers movie.
Some things are better left in the past, Kory.
What? Do you know how long I've been waiting for a Austin Powers movie?
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
No, because he had a commercial like a couple years ago, a Super Bowl commercial with Dr. Evil in it, and it was like, please do this.
Well, there's no mini-me now. How are they going to do it?
Oh, yeah.
And people are going to be offended by it. Comedies are dead. There's no comedies don't exist anymore, except on TikTok, which we will get to. I know. Yes. I'm telling you, we're going to get to that.
Eventually. Before we get into all of that, I did want to focus and point the matter of fact, we need let me call some people to the stand. I want to have a word with them. All right. Let me see the representatives for UMG, that's Universal Music Group. Let's hear from Spotify as well, and then of course let's hear from Mr. Aubrey Drake Graham. I believe Corey David, defense attorney, is in as representation for Mr. Graham. Do I have that correct, sir?
You do.
I do. Okay, so let's get started. So yesterday, Tuesday night, while I'm prepping the show, or I'm starting to prep the show, I have something flash across my social media. And I believe it was dropped by, I have the thing here, Suanosphere. I believe it's a Toronto media company. I'm not expecting y'all to really squint and put y'all reading glasses on and read that lawsuit on the screen. So I'm gonna summarize it for y'all. All right. So here's what basically happened. We know that Drake, as covered on the show before, filed not really a lawsuit, but a petition against Universal Music Group and Spotify about how bots and payola were used to promote Kendrick's hit diss track, Not Like Us, which we all know is calling Drake a pedophile left and right and up and down, right? So, but I remember me and Kory had a conversation when this lawsuit / petition came out, and I was saying, like, I believe that bots and payola was used on behalf of Kendrick Lamar. Like, I didn't doubt Drake's assertions in that petition. My take was, you are making yourself you're putting a scarlet letter on your forehead in the rap game, because you don't see people press lawsuits based around rap beef. Although Drake had again asserted, bots was being used to big up the song Not Like Us on YouTube and Spotify, and payola was used to really, and payola, for those that don't know, you're paying, which is illegal, you're paying radio stations some money on the side and saying essentially, yo, play this track a couple times on your show, a couple times an hour, you know what I mean? A total of 30 times a day, something like that. So that was the petition. Then last night, Drake drops it. They settled that New York Supreme Court lawsuit. Drake dropped the petition, and the wording is, as you see on the ticker down low, the phrasing in the lawsuit was, and you see it on the screen here, the petitioner, Drake, hereby voluntarily discontinues the special proceeding as to all respondents without cost to any party, without cost to any party, which essentially meant, all right, there's no settlement money. Drake didn't settle. UMG didn't settle. We're just dropping it, washing our hands with it. We moving on. So I thought, that's what I thought. I'm like, okay. I'm sure more details will come out about the circumstances about how this took place as we go on later in the week, maybe as the next couple of days pass. But Kory, then I wake up today. Birds is chirping. Oh man, what a beautiful day. I get to get on the Recess Bell show with two of my friends and talk about everything going on in the world. And I open up Twitter or X and I see that I thought it was a troll post. I'm like, hold up, Drake filed another lawsuit? He just dropped this shit yesterday.
That was a complaint. We'll put that out.
So yeah, this morning Drake filed a defamation case against UMG in federal court. It's federal court this time, for spreading the quote false and malicious end quote narrative that he's a pedophile. That according to TMZ, and obviously this revolves around the track once again, Not Like Us. And as you can expect, Drake is getting fried for this behavior. First off, no, because you're gonna press a petition at first, and the petition is basically saying, I need UMG to produce the information that there were bots and payola being used to put me down in this rap beef versus Kendrick, and at the same time big Kendrick up. But then you drop it. And I'm thinking, okay, Drake is okay, like he's cutting his losses, or maybe there's a settlement on the side. I didn't have the details at the time. But today I found out he just dropped that petition to open up the lanes for this lawsuit, which is, if I have to say it, so be it. I know others are saying it. It's kind of bitch ass behavior. I'm not gonna hold you. Now I have finished my opening statement. I will give the floor to defense attorney David, the Aubrey's angel himself, the Drake super fan, got it out the mud with comeback season and all of that. What do you have to say on behalf of Mr. Aubrey Drake Graham, bro? Because he's not looking good in the light as far as I'm concerned.
He's not, but like at the end of the day, it's not like he's supposed to be this gangster rapper or anything like that. He comes from child acting, so of course he's going to use the court system to clear his name. And Now my thing with him is like him withdrawing the complaint earlier and then refiling a actual lawsuit. That begs me to believe that he found something in discovery that can help him with his case. With his case, that help. I mean, I believe it helps him with he found something in discovery probably that could help him with his case, and so that's why I believe he's probably taking it a step further. But I think, overall, I think this is all a chess move by Drake in order to get released from UMG.
So you think this is he's willing to, and again, I don't know how much Drake cares about what people think. From what I've seen, I take it that he cares a decent amount, if not more. I know that's a matter of opinion. But you're saying, Kory, he's willing to throw his reputation as this hip hop star because we've never seen nothing like this. Like from everybody that's grown up in hip hop culture, they're saying this is the least hip hop thing you could do.
Could I ask you a question? Do you know who the most streamed artist is? The 2024, 2020 coming into the shit?
Drake.
Yeah. Now, hypothetically, you do know with his deal that he has with UMG, they don't own his music. They're leasing his music. So once that deal is up and he is free, do you know who owns that music?
Drake.
So if you have one of the most streamed artists where in 100% of the revenue goes back to you, I'm just saying, I'm saying there's possibly a reason why he's doing this, because I think when he realized, you remember when he released the 100 gigs?
Yep.
And he didn't release it on,
by the way, that wasn't on any label.
No.
It wasn't on any streaming platform, I should say.
No, it wasn't on any DSPs, right? Initially, right? But each one of those tracks went on Spotify after UMG took it down.
Okay.
So it showed you how much power that the label had where they could do that. But if Drake is an independent artist, because I forgot who said it, like Russ a couple years, our rapper Russ, right?
Unfortunately. No shit.
Yeah, he said if Drake were to go independent, it would kind of essentially ruin a lot of things for a lot of rap labels. Because I think one of the main gripes that Drake has with UMG is the fact that basically, okay, so this whole, the whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, right?
Mm.
And do you know Kendrick is signed to UMG? So
yes, they're both signed to UMG. That's an important detail. Kendrick and Drake are both signed to UMG. And
if we being honest, if we saying that one is bringing in more money than the other, right? And then you predicate some of my resources are basically my fund towards helping the guy who's helping bury me. Does that make sense?
Listen, I think everything not everything. There's a few things you're saying that's just BS, but a lot of the things I'll get into in a second. But a lot of the things you're saying is, I think it's fair in terms of Drake wants to be independent. Drake is a name. He's a brand. You know what I mean? So I get him wanting to do that if that's his motive. But the slick thing that people like you, Kory, and a lot of I love this phrase so much. A lot of Aubrey's Angels are trying to do. They're trying to twist these narratives, because at first, what were people saying was the motive for Drake putting that petition forward? You had people going off BS like, oh, he's gonna do this for the lesser artists. He's fighting the good fight for his fellow artists. Man, you think Drake give a damn about the little man? Like you think he gives a fuck about the little guy? Like, no, he's doing it for his own agenda. So that was funny. And then when the news came down that the petition got dropped last night, you had all these people saying, oh, they must have settled out of court. Drake is a beast. No, I saw a lot of people saying that. On the initials, I sure did.
I don't know why people think that. I just think that he would,
because everyone, when these things come out, people like to play lawyers and all that.
My initial reaction was he must have found his smoking gun that would allow him to proceed to go further. because I'm like, it'd just be weird to just can drop this completely. So yeah, when he came out and filed the actual defamation lawsuit, and the thing is, and even I could admit this, right? This is kind of funny of Drake is what he's essentially doing is he's suing UMG, right? But it kind of feels like it's like UMG Kendrick Lamar adjacent. Like you're not named in anything, but this lawsuit is really directed towards you on the low. It's fun. It's kind of funny. It's kind of beast. I ain't gonna lie.
I have the TMZ report up on the screen here. So Drake says he's got bot receipts to show how far the label UMG went to turn Kendrick's song into an anthem. According to the suit, UMG paid a third party to use bots to increase the song's streams by at least $30 million. Excuse me, 30 million. I'm thinking dollars and cash and all that.
30 million views.
Views, thank you. And engaged in a pay-for-play scheme with at least one radio promoter.
Oh,
Ebro. Allegedly.
Oh,
Allegedly. Don't sue me.
Look, as Drake once said, the higher ups have come to collectively together to end my run. You know,
Drake's also claiming UMG was in on getting Kendrick the Super Bowl halftime gig. So let's pause right there before we move on to anything else. Not Like Us was this monster track. Now, whether it was aided by payola or bots or whatever, still, it was a track. The first time I heard it, I couldn't believe what I was listening to in the complimentary way. Like I thought it was fire. So that was my first time listening to it. Now, with that being said, Kendrick being named as the Super Bowl halftime performer, and I know we talked about that on a previous Recess Bell show when Kendrick got the nod over somebody like Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne's from New Orleans, and the Super Bowl's in New Orleans, so we got into all of that before. I think a big part of what Drake's doing here, Kory, if you're Drake, can you even think about stomaching Not Like Us being performed during the Super Bowl halftime show?
No, I cannot, and that's why I think that a lot of this is to try to muddy that water. Be like, hey, that man better not say that line on the national stage, because that would be the craziest thing. Now, if he does like an abbreviate a version of it, like they not like us and stuff like that, I can see that. But I think Kendrick gonna go the full extra mile and actually do the whole diss. Unfortunately. But
I think this is a major part of what Drake's trying to do. I think he does not want that song played in front of. I mean, is the Super Bowl though the biggest event in American TV every year?
Yeah, but I mean, Drake is doing the World Cup, so just want to put that out.
Well, opportunity for get back, right?
But no, because he's not gonna do nothing like that. But my thing with Drake, is the fact that people think that this is going to be the end of Drake or this and that. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I hate to go into wrestling when I say this, Drake is like WWE in the sense that there's so many skeletons and so many things that you can hold up against him, but yet somehow he has already established fan base that won't leave him. So regardless of what anybody thinks or does, that fan base is going to rock with him.
He does look like a bitch right now, though. We both can agree on that.
Oh, brother.
What would be the counter action that he could do to not look like a bitch? I guess release another diss track back?
That's the thing, Justin. Like, that's typically what you see in these rap battles. Like, okay, if the beef is over after Not Like Us, let it be over. Like, okay, you won, you got that. To take it to court, no matter if you feel justified or not, based on if bots and payola was bigging it up, just put another track out. Go at him.
Josh, be honest with yourself. Stop it. Because you're looking a little fight. Okay, look, there was nothing that Drake could have did. You know what people wanted Drake to do? They wanted Drake to go quiet in the night and disappear for like a year or two, and then maybe.
Yes. That's the best course of action.
That's what y'all wanted him to do. But guess what? That's what y'all wanted him to do.
Because it's the right thing to do.
No, because guess what? No matter what he would have did, because guess what? In the Heart Part 6, people said when he released Family Matters and they was going through the thing, they said, we want 8 p.m. in Charlotte, Drake. We want time and date, Drake, right? Then when he giving you bars that allude to that, that's not good enough. Y'all say, oh, you're not going to defend yourself against those allegations? Then when he does defend himself against those allegations, you know what? Not good enough. Not good enough.
No, because this is what you do. You try to be slick. You try to be slick.
Y'all know what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted Drake to disappear and go away, but that's not what he's going to do.
Kory, I enjoy Drake's music. Every time Drake drops, I pay attention to it. I've enjoyed his past music. I enjoy a little bit of his present music, not as much as I used to. I don't want to see Drake just disappear and go off on the wayside just because. But in terms of the rap battle strategy, you lost. You got called a pedophile, got called out your name, all this shit. You came back with the Heart Part 6. It flopped. All right, so it's over. So just lay low, come back. October's very own or whatever. And the beef happened during the summer. If Drake would have just laid low July,
happened in spring,
September,
happened in spring.
Okay, but it lasted over. Not like us was the theme song of the summer, right? That's what I'm saying. So just lay low, come back. October's very own OVO. Drop something in October. Speak your piece a little bit. I know it's difficult with his beef with UMG, and he's had this beef even before the Kendrick stuff. But this is not the way if you care about your public image. And by the way, allegedly, I see what DJ Academics is doing, talking about, oh, LeBron this, LeBron that. LeBron better watch out before I get these family secrets out. Man,
no.
What do you mean, no?
You're not gonna woke this. I'm a nip this in the butt.
I'm not woking anything up. I'm using common sense.
I'm gonna nip this in the butt real quick because in that text message that he had with Chris Blake Griffin, right? What he was alluding to, he was not trying to, as quote unquote, throw LeBron in a bus. What he was trying to allude to is like, okay, you know the situation kind of with that situation with the Instagram guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what he was trying to say, because that guy's kind of throwing these claims that Stephon Diggs, and that might result to kind of football, allegedly tried to rape him, and so he was like, I'm fighting for my life here, and he's like, and I know, hey,
wait. Now I saw that report, but you glossed over that real smooth. What did you say?
That guy Chris Blake Griffin on Instagram is accusing Stephon Diggs of trying to coerce or aka rape him.
I just wanted to double check that's what you said. Continue.
And so he was trying to ask Drake for help, I need you to publicly, support me. And he was like, I really can't do that. And he was just talking about say if it was like a situation was like, like Nike trying to support LeBron in a situation where he cheated on his wife. You see how difficult that would be? That's what he was alluding to. People take Drake out of context so many times. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm getting texts like, listen, I think that I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I think Academics is a Drake lackey at this point. Now, the reason I bring up LeBron is because while we see guys like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, they were always Drake fans. They were their brothers, right? They were brothers together. They're still in support of Drake, which, out of brotherhood and friendship, I guess I support. Mm-hmm. Again, that's hoping that the pedophilia allegations aren't true. Okay. LeBron switched up. LeBron did switch up. LeBron did go out to the Kendrick Lamar pop out over the summer. He was over there dancing to Not Like Us when Kendrick played it 15 times in a row. So I get why Drake would be upset at LeBron. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and saying yo, he slid something to Academics allegedly.
No, because you know what I think Academics try to do, and this is just my common sense. He tried to, because of that freestyle, he tried to connect certain things together that necessarily wasn't that connected, and then you have people talking about, but we already knew LeBron did this. People been knew about Yes Jules. I mean, yes, people been knew about that since 2012. But
shout out, Yes Jules. Shout out.
That's all. But mind you, that's all alleged. Nothing to be proven as guilty in the court of public opinion. Braun is still faithfully married and has never done anything wrong.
That's the defense attorney I know. There it is.
I can, look, I'm like Travis Hunter. We play both ways, bro. We can defend LeBron and Drake at the same time.
Nah, your depth when it comes to your versatility when it comes to these matters is always admirable. I'll say that. But Drake, like I said, Drake is getting called all types of bitch ass.
But you know the funny thing about Drake is, and yeah, if he wanted to, he could have really ended all of this by doing what y'all wanted him to do. Just be quiet, just stay quiet. Because guess what? If I'm being honest, I barely didn't care. I haven't cared about, like, okay, the GNX album, it was solid, but I'm like, it's not nothing like, I'm like, oh, snap, he killed the world with that one. And then with anything, I wasn't, just me personally, maybe it was me. I really wasn't hearing anybody for like a minute before that lawsuit came out. Was talking about Drake and the whole thing again. It wasn't until he woke it up as far as like bringing that back out that people start bringing that back up. But the longer he stayed quiet, the more things died down for him. And I was like this, if he would have did exactly what y'all wanted and just stay quiet, yeah, everything could have been all right. But that's not what he wants to do. He's a guy that loves putting out music, and it's like that's not going to stop him from what he wants to do. And so, yes, I think that right now it's not looking in the best light. But hypothetically, if he becomes an independent artist and he's able to make more money, does it really matter?
We'll move on, but I just think that still what you're saying is right.
You gonna call him a Karen? Look, all I'm saying is this: Atlanta music without Drake right now looking kind of scary. Looking kind of scary.
We laid low and fed you the information.
Hey Ross, Ross ain't gonna have one of them. I bet you money Ross gonna be crawling right back trying to get another Drake feature.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, there's a certain level of shamelessness you need to have in the music industry, just period. But I mean, listen,
I'm gonna tell you right now, people look. You say this is such a salacious thing, and it was like, you know, with the whole lawsuit, people. The minute Gunna release some good music, the minute Gunna release some music, he was back to being like, yo, everything was good again. Like as soon as he released, it's like he snitched. Really don't care. Drake's career will never be the same. I'll bet you it will. He dropped
won't be the same after this. Go ahead and lie.
Huh?
You think his career is going to be the same after this?
I think so. I don't think it's really going to dip. I don't really think it's going to dip as far as like, you know. Okay, yeah, he got an L. He got an L before this. Pusha put an L on him before this. Did it affect him?
Did it affect him a little bit? This is going to affect him a lot. This is going to affect him a lot of it.
Brother. No,
it didn't affect Drake a little bit.
No.
You're lying, bro. You lying. Right
One second. Okay. Can I ask a question? And you answered this question earlier. Who was the number one stream artist last year?
Okay, Drake. Yes.
Okay, then stop it.
So you're saying in the eye, and that we have to move on, but in the eyes of public perception, him getting his fucking kid outed by Pusha T and then getting called a pedophile up and down, left and right by Kendrick Lamar on Not Like Us. And by the way, Not Like Us, not even the hottest diss track of that sequence. Euphoria, and I feel like 616 in LA were both better. So Drake got dragged up and down the mud in that beat. You think his career is going to even come close? Because I feel like as an artist, if you don't have public perception, bro, you have some things, you don't have anything in the grand scheme though.
I think people pay too much into headlines and not enough to what is actually happening. Nothing really affected Drake. As far as like, okay, the record sales are still going through the roof, you're still getting money. Ain't nothing changed.
I mean, there have been
I love this comment right here. Go ahead, Justin.
There have been lots of artists that have dealt with controversies, and some of them have been able to successfully, you know, finish their career. But then there are other examples. Obviously, the one, if you're talking about pedophilia, the name that comes to mind is obviously Michael Jackson, and he was never able to recover from any of those things. Now, granted, those things went to court, and there was a lot more evidence. I'm not really too familiar exactly what's going on with Drake, but I don't think anything's going to come as far as a lawsuit from a child actually, coming out and saying things happened. But MJ never recovered in the public eye and in sales. He never was able to.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why though. The reason why is because there were people who act like there was like a majority of it that believed it just because of his outward appearance and how he was like he moved. There was a certain way that the way people move, it follows their perception. So the fact that he had the Neverland Ranch and had those sleepovers with the kids and stuff like that, that played into a higher perception. You don't necessarily see that with Drake and moving like that.
No, but you never know. It could be the start. Maybe he'll bleach his skin and get a nose job and MJ 2.0.
Well, Justin, he's already gotten the BBO.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's already gotten that.
Are you going to put allegedly there?
No.
Me and my client, we will press charges.
No, it's fairly obvious. So he got the.
Do you have
Justin,
any substantial proof? Do you have any substantial proof that he had any operations done?
Justin, my guy Drake had the hair treatment done. My guy Drake was walking around like a mini fro, a mini fro. Next day he has braids. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Mr. Josh, could you please remove your hat? What? I'm not gonna remove my hat. What you did with? We know you went to Turkey with the recess bell. Like, what up? Word. And we look at the flight logs. We know there was a trip to Istanbul. Yo, Kory throwing mud. All right, Kory playing dirty. I respect it. Stand up for your client, bro. I admire it. Hey, yo, if anybody at WHEC wants to know why he always wearing hats, y'all notice he just started getting confident not wearing one. I'm just saying. Hey, first off, we've talked about the turkey treatments before. You need like 2 weeks to let it normalize, and then you out. You good. Josh, we know. That's why you've been wearing that hat. You've been making sure nobody's seeing you. Hey, look, I remember you was off for like a good 2 weeks from WHEC.
That's what happened.
Hey, you know why you did it now. I needed to force a vacation. I couldn't go. I need to take that quick trip I need to get the Deion Sanders, the Brian Urlacher. Yeah, y'all, you got me. Oh, you got that one. You got that one. Can I just address this comment? According to Drake, streams can be fake. Higher stream artists doesn't mean much.
Oh.
Okay, in that defense, but Drake is always led by such a wide margin that if they were to, if UMG wants to, couldn't they use that against him as far as that? So it'll come out if all this stuff is fake. So
he was more streamed than Taylor Swift.
No. I think it's mostly in rap. Rap. Yeah, hip hop and R&B. Yeah, he's not the most streamed artist. That'll always go to like a Taylor Swift, a pop artist, or a true pop artist. Because Drake is considered pop. You know what's funny, Kory? I was watching a clip of the Rich Eisen show where Deion Sanders hopped up. That was his first like public appearance with the brand new hairline and the hair plugs. Man, the happiness from Deion was radiating off the screen. I'm telling you, when you take a man's hairline, you take his life. Yeah. I mean, listen, if you got a good beard, though, you can work around it. I'm telling you, Josh, mine's, God forbid, knock on wood, if mine's ever start going, I'm gonna get your doctor. I'm gonna ask you for the haircut. But you know what you do, Kory? You do to James Harden. You not low. It's starting to go. It's starting to go. But you think the braids is gonna like cover it up a little bit. You know what? You doing the James Harden? I'm gonna help you out. Because that was, you know what you should have said? You should have been like, "Is it the braids?" You should have did the Kendrick. No, James Harden shit looks crazy. He has his hairline like on the top of his head, and it's just the braids going down. Mine's ain't going like that. I still got time, brother. I mean, listen, Kory, it happens at the snap of a finger with
us men. You know what I mean? He's checking it out in the camera now too.
I'm still good. I'm still good, brother. Still good. I just wish my beard would get to that same point in my head.
Oh, just hit me up for that. Hit me and Justin up for that. We got you with the treatments. We got you.
I'm not shaving this beard, by the way, until Pete Alonso re-signs with the Mets. So this thing might be all the way down to here.
Yo, he's not signing until like February at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be
signing until pitchers and catchers report.
It's brutal. Every day I'm looking it up. Any bit of news, and it seems like there's a big disconnect, unfortunately.
Yeah, no doubt. Just to move this along, I did want to finally get to this TikTok ban, and I will do just that. So we talked about it at the start of the show, the TikTok ban coming down on Sunday. Now, for those that don't know, this has been a war waged between the U.S. government and TikTok and the Chinese owners of the company. They're titled ByteDance. That's that company's name that owns TikTok. So here's my report. If the court does not block the law by Sunday, January 19th, this Sunday, new TikTok downloads on app stores would be banned, but existing users could continue to use the app for some time, with the platform services to degrade and eventually stop working because other companies would be then barred from providing support to TikTok. So there's that. But like I said, this has been a war waged between the U.S. government and TikTok / ByteDance for years now. So November 2017, that's when TikTok was launched. Now, February 2019, Lil Nas X Kory, he put out Old Town Road on TikTok. He was really the first artists to put a song out on TikTok. And that led to a lot of artists and musical people saying, wait, maybe I can do this. This is a new, interesting way to reach a whole new group of fans. So that's how that happened. Then that's when, once that U.S. interest exploded after that point in 2019, that's when you saw the government like, yo, what's going on as far as the United States government.
And then you see how strong it had as far as, events and political campaigns.
Propaganda. No doubt. October 2019, U.S. politicians called for a national security probe into TikTok and other Chinese-owned apps. May 2020, these privacy groups filed a complaint alleging TikTok was still violating U.S. child protection laws. They were first sued about child protection laws and child privacy laws in, February 2019. So when that Lil Nas X track came out, that's when they had to actually pay a settlement of $5 million for violating U.S. child privacy laws. So I'm not going to read off the entire timeline, but Trump came in 2020. This is before the election that got Biden into office. He said he's considering banning TikTok as retaliation for China's poor handling of COVID. ByteDance and TikTok sued Trump back. Go ahead, Kory.
He also wanted to ban WhatsApp. I mean, not WhatsApp. WeChat, another Chinese app, but that never got banned, and it's not on the plans to be banned. Just want to point that out.
Thank you for that context. February 2021, when Biden took office, he postponed the legal cases with Trump and TikTok. And then April 2022, TikTok officially became the most downloaded app in the world. Now you come all the way to 2023. The TikTok CEO, who was a Singapore native, I don't know if you remember this, you two, but he was getting fried in front of the legislature. Like, they was holding his feet to the fire. He was trying to hold his own, but at that point, you pretty much knew, they're dead serious about getting TikTok up out of here as far as the United States. So March 2024 now, a bill to either ban TikTok or force its sale to a U.S. company picked up steam in Congress. TikTok made its best efforts to ask lawmakers to back off, but Joe Biden in April officially signed the bill, and that brings us to this week where, unless ByteDance has a sudden change of heart, because they've been steadfast, we're not selling our app. to a U.S. party. We're not doing that. Why would we do that? That's against our interests. Meanwhile, the government is like, yeah, well, you violated so many privacy laws. Like I mentioned the child privacy laws. I mentioned the security probes that the government has made into TikTok. There's also been controversies of TikTok algorithms suggesting eating disorders to children. These are all things that have happened. So that brings us to where we are now. And unless there's a last minute sale or something that happens that's unforeseen right now, TikTok's going to get banned. And we're on it now. Like I said at the start of the report, we could still use it for like a couple days until eventually the app just falls apart. But for new users, and if you want to download TikTok after Sunday, it's clip, at least right now. So I don't know how y'all feel about this. I know Justin and all of us really, we enjoy TikTok for our own interests. We put content out. We absorb content. Like it. I don't want to see that part of it go, but like what's okay. So I guess my question is, how do y'all feel about this entire timeline and where we're at now? Do y'all think it'll get banned, or will there be a last minute thing that bars it? And then if it does get banned, like what's the pivot? Is it this red note thing that people is talking about? Is it something else? Like,
well, just to start off, I'm a huge supporter of TikTok for many reasons. I mean, I have amassed a decent following on TikTok. I play a character on there, and I have close to 20,000 followers. And I've made some, I know it sounds weird, but like friendships of sorts and a community. And I do these TikTok lives, and I have a legit blast, having these conversations with people and playing into this character and being goofy. And it's not just me. I see other people that don't have the means to be creative, to have editing software. TikTok is so great because you can make these cool edits, and you can't do that on Instagram. And that's something that's very disappointing. And also a big thing is I'm a big supporter of people with disabilities, and a lot of people with Down syndrome, a lot of people that have tics or just Tourette's. I follow a lot of people that have issues that would not be able to post on other media because it is just more difficult to navigate those sort of things. They're not going to be able to tweet. So it's a huge disappointment to people that make their living, not just that, but just get an outlet to be creative. So I'm very upset. It's borderline depressed at this point that they're getting rid of it. I can understand, the legal aspects and all that mumbo jumbo, but all these apps are corrupt. You could go on YouTube and look up effed up stuff. You could go on Twitter and look up effed up stuff and be sold different things. If your algorithm is pointing you towards one thing on Instagram, you're going to see ads for it there. So just because that's an American-run company, it makes it better. I get it. We have a beef going on with China. But as a guy who doesn't make much money and really has nothing to hide, to me, it doesn't seem as a threat. What are they going to steal? What information do I have? My action figure collection list online? Like I have nothing to hide or so to me, I'm very upset. And I expect, believe it or not, still right now, I'm holding out hope that somebody will. I think they're going to extend this. I think this deadline's not going to be Sunday. I think it's going to get pushed back. I'm reading people are looking to push it back a couple of 100 days. And I'm hoping within that time, once Trump gets into office, I think he's going to see the benefits that he got, particularly from TikTok, getting him reelected. And hopefully we can find somebody that is a U.S. investor that gives enough money that they'll be willing to, sell it.
Kory, you got thoughts?
Yes, I do. Essentially, what the government is doing, I know y'all probably never watched this movie, but Benny Siegel, the rapper, released a movie like a while ago. But in it, the most iconic scene was you either get down or lay down. You either get down with us or you lay down, which basically means you're going to die. And that's basically what they're doing in the sense where it's like you're forcing TikTok's hands. And I see. I think that more essentially what they're more scared of is what it could do as far as being used politically, as far as like whether it be the right or the left being able to use TikTok to garner support and get messages out that necessarily that the other side doesn't agree with. And in a sense, it's like they're kind of condemning a form of free speech. In a sense, it's like they're shutting down people's voices. And people on TikTok. They express themselves. They tell stories. For example, I know that they're in Florida. They don't want to teach. They're not trying to teach. What is it? Trying to remember what thing it is. It's basically like trying to teach about slavery and stuff. There's people on TikTok who will probably go over those sort of subjects. There's people who learn things that they've never learned their entire lives on TikTok. But oh, so you could use this certain way and different things. There's handyman who do tutorials. There's people who do gaming things. Like you said, there's people who go over their disabilities and talk about their daily lives, and they garner support of that. People actually support. They'll leave their GoFundMe in the link in bio, and people might go support that. People have TikTok shops. There's so many essential things that you can do from TikTok that they're essentially taking away. And I think it's a byproduct of it being the top app in a sense, where it's like, okay, people have the Twitters, people have the Instagrams, but you see how many people go over to TikTok and are just. I'm one of those people who like you get into a little swiping marathon. It's just like it's so addictive. It's like let me just swipe. Oh, this is a good story. Oh, that's interesting. And so I think that I'm hoping that there is somebody in the 11th hour who can come in and save it. Hopefully not McMill, because I see him trying to say.
No.
Somebody said, sell me TikTok. Everybody's like, no, we're good. I seen that Mr. Beast. I seen Mr. Beast is throwing his name in the towel, and I wonder if it's a situation where it's like, will somebody who tries to buy it try to partner up with China in a sense, because you have people who do bad deals with bad countries. WWE, and I hate to always bring it back. They have a multi-billion-dollar deal with a multi-million-dollar deal with Saudi Arabia. So I'm like, if anything, they don't mind people doing bad things with companies. So I just see that it being so the hypocrisy of it all. And I think that with people trying to move on to whether or not going to a red note, which was also in I think it's called Lemonade. Both Chinese owned companies. I think that's a people's form of like kind of protest. Now, with I believe Lemonade, I believe you can transfer over your content and things of that matter from TikTok over.
It sucks for people that have made such a following. I mean, there are comedic acts. I'm a big stand-up comedian fan, and a lot of people have made their mark by spreading their message through TikTok. I mean, Shane Gillis, who's probably one of the hottest, comedians going today. Yeah, he was famous relatively before TikTok, but that sort of blew him up. There's beautiful models out there that I follow that are on TikTok. I mean, that I'm just enamored by their looks. And there's so much there. Kory mentioned about getting information about things. I'm the movie guy. I've seen clips of movies, and then you go to the comments and you say, what was that movie? And then I watch it. I'm like, I never heard of this. Thank you, TikTok, for putting me on that.
Oh, man. If TikTok got banned, Kory, Justin, I'm going to miss the comment section the most.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Yo, I'm not going to lie. I'm watching Ghost Whisperer just because of TikTok. Like, they had these little clips and stuff. Like, they'll show you something and they're like, huh, what's that? And then they'll say, what movie is this? They'll say, what show is it? And somebody will tell you, and it's like, oh, let me go watch it. Let me see how interesting that is. Yo, Josh, Meg Thee Stallion might need to go get a new career. TikTok closed down because the whole formula was drop a song, people make a dance to it, and get popular. Now you taking that one aspect out of it where it's like the dance makes it popular. A lot of people,
yeah.
And it's gonna be the worst part is Jello is gonna be the last TikTok artist who got big off of it.
Oh no, imagine. We was talking about Drake before, like 2Z Slide, if you remember that track.
Yeah, that
was a TikTok kind of like that was geared towards TikTok in terms of a viral dance. We put a nice little beat to it and watch this song take off.
I've seen all these forms of social media, have their rise and then their decline. there's never been one that has been shut down like this before, where, you know, AOL and MySpace, they just went away because something else took over. The fact that this is the hottest application and is being taken down potentially is interesting. To counteract all of this, though, it might be good for the society to get rid of some of this stuff. As much as I like this brain rot type of humor, and I do enjoy it, but I also takes away from interactions with people. We've had many discussions on these podcasts about the obsession that people have on their phone. So if you could take away one of these apps and take away more screen time and have actual human interaction, that could be a benefit.
I agree with that. I think that okay, so it's such a two-sided coin here because yes, I think TikTok in terms of what it does for creatives, like the recess bell, the network for creatives. Like I will go on TikTok and I'll see somebody posting promoting their podcast or their business, or I just have somebody that I went to high school with that wrote a book, a children's book that they were promoting on TikTok in short form content form. So and everything Justin just laid out is such a great hub for creatives, for anybody that does anything creative. Like if you cook, even do you know how many cooking videos I've seen?
Cooking with Kaya?
I know that's the one you know. But, hey,
down.
My point still stands though. My point still stands. So it's going to be tough for so many people that, like you said in the pre-show meeting, Kory, that make their livelihood off of TikTok and that can promote certain things on TikTok and monetize TikTok. It's going to be tough for them to find that pivot, especially since I don't see like where are they going to go? IG Reels, like Justin just said, they don't have the capabilities to use sounds and do so many of the cool stuff you can do with TikTok on IG. So you can't go there as a catch-22 solution.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where these creators are going. I've noticed, I mean, me personally, I've linked my Instagram because it's the only thing I have. I don't really feel like starting up again and doing, I mean, I'm trying to get my YouTube channel growing, but that's just a different type of format. I mean, for me personally with my YouTube, that's taking out my actual camera, setting up the microphone, lights, all the editing. I have to go on Adobe Premiere. You know, it's not just a simple thing. Like I have an idea. Oh, I'm gonna spit while eating spaghetti and go yeah, and then make it. And you can't just do that spur of the moment, you know, thing with YouTube. At least for me, I like to take more time with it. I've had some of the hardest laughs of my life watching these YouTube videos, and I mentioned how comedy is essentially dead when it comes to feature films. But I mean, where are we gonna laugh? I mean, it's just it's something I you know, they've been teasing it for years. You know, a couple of years ago they said they're gonna get rid of it. This is definitely the closest it's been. But like Kory said, hopefully something in the 11th hour, you know, somebody buys it and fixes this.
Can I throw an analogy? It would be almost like, okay, so we essentially believe that TikTok to be Vine's predecessor, like after, like, you know, after being after it. So it'd be like, you know, you have Blockbuster, then you have Netflix. It'd be like them shutting down Netflix in a sense because it's the biggest platform and people would love it. And so I just throw that analogy out there.
No, that's a great analogy, but I'm wondering, I never did Vine. Is that something that you think could come back?
Ooh.
The Vine essentially is, like I said, it's the predecessor. It's like TikTok before TikTok.
I know the videos were shorter on Vine, but I don't even know who owns Vine. Maybe Vine. I don't know if that's an American-run organization. But yeah, I mean, where do we start? Where do we stop with this, with dealings with other countries that we have disagreements with? I mean, all my clothes are made in China. All our Nikes are made overseas. All these other companies, you know, the golf company does dealings with Saudi Arabia, WWE, NBA does all these shady things with all these countries as well. So why are they picking on TikTok?
Be careful, Josh. They're gonna say you woken it up out here. You gotta be careful. I mean,
nonsense.
You're doing something that people don't like. You're making valid points.
You're right. You know, and to answer your question on Vine, I believe it's American owned. I believe it's now owned by Twitter. I think Elon Musk was thinking about bringing it back. I saw a headline earlier
Oh,
last year.
conveniently. Oh, that's convenient. Just saying.
So you and by the way, I know Elon Musk was in. It was a headline. Again, you know, I don't put much stock into headlines, but I did see that headline that Elon wouldn't mind, you know, purchasing TikTok. Only thing is, ByteDance would never sell to Elon Musk for many reasons. So I don't see that happening. But
I think, you know, one of the things you might have mentioned it, Josh. I believe you did something about, you know, influencing kids, I guess, through TikTok.
yeah, so just to
But
rehash that before you
yeah,
get into your point. So yes, February 2019, they had to pay a $5 million settlement for violating child privacy laws. And then they got a probe from the government, and they were basically saying, oh, y'all still doing it, even though y'all paid the settlement. And then the whole controversy a couple of years ago, I think it was 2022, where there were a lot of parents concerned that, yo, why is there eating disorder propaganda on my child's TikTok For You page?
here's the
So
thing.
they've gone through a lot of controversies in that lane.
Yeah, but this just reminds me of, oh, my kid played Mortal Kombat and then he you know, shot up the school. It's the parents'
Grand
job.
Theft Auto is bad. Grand Theft Auto being bad.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson, all these things. It's the parents' job to parent, and maybe your kid shouldn't be on TikTok if they're going to be influenced by ads. And I'm not saying that having those anorexia things are right, but it's the parents' job. I wouldn't allow my kid to be on TikTok at all, not till they're, you know, 14, 15 years old.
That's the thing too, and I've raised that point before. I'll let you go in a second, Kory. You'll close this out. But I've made that point where a lot of this stuff, especially as it pertained to that point with TikTok and how parents were upset that certain things were on their timelines, like some things you just got to chalk up to parents not knowing how to parent.
Quick
Like,
question, Josh.
I'll say that.
Do you remember LeBron didn't allow Bronny and Bryce to get Instagrams until they was like 14, 15?
And LeBron
They
is a
made
very
sure
smart man for doing that.
they didn't allow their kids to get certain social media access until they reached a certain age.
Let me tell you something, Kory. Like, and Justin brought up the whole brain rot humor, which I definitely enjoy in my free time as well. But at the same time, like, okay, so at one of my former jobs, I would work with a lot of like teenagers and young adults and their parents, right? And you know, in the conversations I've had with the I'm already recalling some of them as I laugh, but some of the conversations I had with the parents, it was like, yo, like they are up all night on the Xbox Live parties and they scrolling on TikTok and they're saying shit like skibbity Ohio toilet Riz, Livy Dunn, all this shit. And I'm just like, I named this episode the Gen Z episode because I've been sitting on this.
Oh, the Gen Z episode. You mean what you are?
Yes, exactly. I'm not even gonna fight it this episode. You got it. I'm not a zillennial. I'm not in the middle. I'm Gen Z, okay? But the younger Gen Z, because I'm older, I'm very much on the older side of Gen Z. The younger cats.
Why are you trying to segregate it now?
Because no, Kory, once I make this point, and I think you understand deep down, like I'm not a millennial, but I did grow up on a little bit of that, you know, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, you know, some of that stuff. You grew up
on our aesthetic.
Sure, Kory. I grew up on y'all aesthetic, right? Yeah, the aesthetic. I watched all that, trying to be like y'all, right? But so that's why I say, like, we didn't grow up with iPhones immediately accessible to us. We didn't grow up with social media directly accessible to us. Younger Gen Z and heading into Generation Alpha, I'm concerned, yo. How are these motherfuckers gonna turn out? I'm concerned.
Well, it's the same thing that's been said every generation. People in the 60s would say, oh, you know, you're listening to the Beatles, those hippies, you know, put on Sinatra, and then in the 80s, the same thing. And then the 90s generation would say stuff about the 70s. Every generation craps on the previous generation. So I'm used to it at this point. So I'm all for evolution with technology, but there should be, like you said, and I said, parenting. Parenting is the big thing. We've talked about parenting issues throughout many episodes on this podcast, even to bring it back to Nickelodeon, which you were talking about, getting kids into acting, watching stuff with your kids, explaining stuff with your kids. Watch a movie with your kid and explain, this is a movie. This is not a real gun. That dog didn't die in this movie. That's a CGI thing. It's all about having the interactions. Even if you're scrolling with your kid on TikTok, maybe that will be the future. Instead of telling your kid a bedtime story, you're scrolling through the cat that goes ooh ee I, and you're watching that in bed instead of talking about Jack and Jill going up the hill. So it's all, in my opinion, it's all about how parents interact with their kids is the main thing that's going to stop kids from being asses. It's parenting.
You preaching to the choir right now. Like, you're absolutely preaching, and okay, that's the bottom line. Like, parents, yes, they got to parent better, but TikTok, bottom line, I do enjoy a lot that comes with it. And again, as far as the U.S. government's concerns about privacy issues and what they're showing children and privacy laws, Justin, you made a point that I didn't want to just let pass earlier on in the conversation, where you said, yeah, TikTok gets a lot of slack on, okay, oh, they're always listening, they're always watching. I just talked about this random Jersey Mike's sandwich 5 minutes ago, and then I see an ad for Jersey Mike's on, or a propaganda for a sandwich on my TikTok. And that's just one stupid example, but you see that a lot with the TikTok discourse. But I'm not going to give a whole lesson on internet cookies right now. We don't have the time for that. But when it comes to like Instagram, it's the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Meta, Facebook and Instagram, it's the same thing. Twitter is definitely the same thing in my experience. So it's not just TikTok that does that. I think the United States issue is
we're not doing it.
Exactly. We can't regulate it. The government can't regulate it on their own terms. It's all to the Chinese, and based off Trump's history with the Chinese, and then the whole COVID-19 era, the pandemic. I can understand. I'm not saying I agree with it, not to sound too woke, but I understand where they could have a point of contention with it. I guess
my prediction is this will not go into the swing of things on Sunday. I think there will be a pushback, and I think they're going to give them more time to find somebody to buy it. I can't expect this to happen. It's just too popular. There's too many people, especially with the changing of power the next day. I would expect, once Trump's in office, that then this actually gets settled one way or another.
Yeah, it was Senator Ed Markey, Anaya, when I met with her earlier. Shout out Anaya of Politicking on the Recess Bell, by the way. We're going to come up with some new content after the inauguration. But yes, Senator Ed Markey has proposed extending the TikTok U.S. ban deadline by 270 days. Markey said, quote, TikTok has its problems, but a TikTok ban would impose consequences on millions of Americans who depend on the app for connections and their economic livelihood. We cannot allow that to happen, end quote. So it kind of mirrors what we've been saying.
Yeah, one quick thing, Josh, because I know we got to move on to sports. But I mean, stuff like this has always been happening with the entertainment industry. I mean, there's such a correlation between this and all these actors in the 50s that they thought were communists. I mean, that was a huge thing. The Red Scare in the 50s, Lucille Ball, all these actors and actresses, they're like, oh, you're a communist, you're a communist. And they were put on trial. And, a lot of people lost their careers or gained their careers because of their allegiance or lack of allegiance. So this is it's nothing new. It's just a new spin on it. This is the modern day, Red Scare.
Perfect way to put it. By the way, we brought up the inauguration on Monday for Donald Trump. We have news that Barack Obama will attend, but Michelle Obama will not. Yeah, I saw during the Jimmy Carter funeral.
Yeah,
the two best friends that anybody could have. Who would have thought?
Michelle's not showing up though, she said.
No, and that sparked rumors, Justin, about I saw this rumor flying around about, is everything okay at home with Barack and Michelle?
Oh my God.
brother.
I'm not gonna speculate, but that's what was going on
that,
on social media.
Okay, I think it's more of a Barack's more cordial than Michelle.
That's true.
She probably has a threshold. She could deal with George Bush. George Bush and her kind of a little cool. They had their little fun.
Oh yeah, George W. Bush, greatest or funniest war criminal of all time. Just
the
goofiest war criminal.
He's just like lovable goofball now. Like everyone hated this guy 20 years ago.
Let's take it. So yeah, she probably has a threshold. Like, yeah, I'm not going to do all that. Barack has to be, because he's a former president, so he's more cordial than anything. That's why I think you see him more like, whether it be the president before him or the president after him, he is cordial. He is in like, okay, I'm gonna make light, even though there's been multiple times where I've disagreed with a lot of things this man has done. I have to show that I do not have any ill intentions or any like resentment towards this guy. I'm like, okay, you won fair and square. Okay, I'm big enough to like, okay, have a conversation with you.
That's the best thing for this country, is for these parties to be talking with one another in a friendly way. I mean, the country is so divided, and even if these two rivals can sort of put away their differences to better the nation, it's the best thing for the country.
I'm gonna woke it up a little bit. I believe neither one of these sides. I believe neither one of these sides really hate each other. There are two sides of the same coin. The thing that they don't want is the third party. No. That's the thing they fear.
Yeah, and I know that
actual true independent.
That third party rhetoric you were speaking of was kind of making the rounds on TikTok, but it's a shame that's going to close down as well. Yeah, unfortunately. Well said though. Well said though by everybody. Kory, you ready to talk some football?
Phoenix.
Oh, brother.
Michael Phoenix.
Are you ready or are you not?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about some football.
Let's get it. Wild card weekend into our recap of it. How surprised were you, Kory, about the Chargers being an egg in Houston?
Can you repeat that?
How surprised were you about the Texans just washing the Chargers and Justin Herbert having a disaster class, an Aster class, 4 interception game?
I was shocked because of the fact that the Texans the last 2 weeks of the season, they didn't necessarily show me anything that approved otherwise that they would have their second performance in the playoffs, and that I believe the Chargers were kind of on their hot streak. They were just trying to catching their stride. They just signed Ezekiel Elliott, and that's crazy. How you sign with a team for 1 week just to be eliminated?
Grand opening, grand closing.
And then I just felt as though I didn't think they had the pieces to match up. I didn't think they had the pieces to match up. I thought the Chargers, were looking to catch their stride defensively with Doran James and everything like that. And then, so coming into the season, you have people who still hold on to these I'm gonna say two. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. People still hold on to these guys like they're gonna be something. I promise you, they're gonna truly be something. They're gonna be elite, top 5. And then when pavement meets the road, they fold. And this is his second time as a collapse. I believe he threw 4 interceptions.
4 of them.
4 of them.
He threw more interceptions in one game than the entire season he had. How crazy is that?
Do we not forget what he did to Trevor? What happened with him and Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago? Was up by like 27 points.
Oh.
And then had the disaster. So I want
they were up 27-0 in that game a few years ago.
I want all those skeptics who say Lamar Jackson, when he gets to the playoffs, he's a disaster. Like, we need to be putting that same type of rhetoric towards Justin Herbert.
No, they was frying Justin Herbert. They was photoshopping anybody onto him. Dak Prescott. They was photoshopping onto the Herbert jersey. Who else? They had a Chris Paul up there. They was going hard on Herbert. Pause. They was really violating.
The Chargers nothing surprises me with that organization. They have some of the most heartbreaking losses. They're always competitive, but it doesn't surprise me that they're one and done again.
Just as far as the X's and O's. So what helped Justin Herbert a lot, and this is what Jim Harbaugh came in and wanted to do. He wanted to give Herbert, he wanted to take away, like, we're not going to pass 40 times a game no more. Keenan Allen, you out of here. Mike Williams, you out of here. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run some more. Chargers only 50 rush yards on Saturday. That's why they got washed. Justin Herbert hasn't played like that all season long. Like you said, Justin, more interceptions in this game than the entire season. And that's why they didn't have a run game.
I'm gonna woke it up. I'm about to woke it up. I'm about to truly woke it up a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so listen to the evidence that you just presented me. They take away a couple of his number one receivers, right? They want to
shout out Lad McConkey though.
They want it to be more of a run type of offense. And remember, before this, Harbaugh's last NFL team was the San Francisco 49ers, right? Do you know who the offensive coordinator of those teams were?
Who would that be, Kory?
Greg Roman. Do you know Greg Roman?
Who's Greg Roman coaching right now, Kory?
The Chargers. He's an offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Do you know who's the quarterback for those teams that he did that to with?
Oh, that would be. Go ahead and say it.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, you did go woke with it. Damn. I wasn't lying.
So I think in order for it to work in this type of system, you need a quarterback like a Alex Smith or a Colin Kaepernick who is a
quarterback that can run.
Yeah, a quarterback who has been known to succeed in that Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman type of offense, or a Lamar Jackson type who had success in a Greg Roman offense.
Speaking of Greg Roman, he was coaching the Baltimore Ravens last year, a couple years ago. No, a couple years ago. It wasn't last year. Todd Monken's been there for 2 years now.
That's why I said he would be like, you need that type of quarterback, like a read option type of quarterback, who you can make a whole offense around.
Look at the quarterbacks who are left. I think 6 of the 8, if I'm not mistaken, are guys that can run. It's a new NFL now. The only ones that can't run are Stafford and Goff. Everyone else is a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarterbacks that can run, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, you look at the stat sheet, 175 yards passing, 2 tutties, 15 carries for 81 yards. It's Lamar Jackson. You come to expect that, but Kory, the 15 rush attempts, I'm telling you, I don't want to jinx nothing because I have been big on Baltimore all season long, and then we're going to get into that big Ravens-Bills game in a moment. Lamar Jackson, what is the stat? 5-0, 6-0 since his mom cussed him out saying he needs to run the ball more. If Lamar Jackson's running 15 plus times per game and you have Derrick Henry alongside him, there's a reason Baltimore's a 1-point favorite in Buffalo. Buffalo's never been a home underdog in their history. This will be the first time if that line holds. Ravens -1 on the road. That's the first time Buffalo's ever been a home underdog. I think Vegas kind of sees what we're talking about. Like, as long as Lamar Jackson don't think he's Peyton Manning all of a sudden and runs the damn football, who's going to stop the Ravens?
Well, who's going to stop Josh Allen to counter that?
That's true. You have to remember, though, and Baltimore's defense is good. They're not great. They have their moments. They're not great. They're not dominant. I hate to apply regular season games to what you're going to see in the playoffs, but what was it, week 6 or 7?
I think
Baltimore, week 4. That game in Baltimore where, the Bills just got violated. Derrick Henry had close to 200 yards. I'm looking at it like I can't forget that game, even though the game's in Buffalo, and Buffalo is like
undefeated.
Yeah. As a Saints fan too, yes, undefeated at home.
Yeah,
and as a Saints fan too, I have an expert opinion on this. When the team loses time and time again in the playoffs, before you know it, they're just gonna be like, all right, we're ready to win. Like, forget this. We're ready to go. We're ready to get it done. Josh Allen's had so many heartbreaking losses. We know the Bills fans have gone through some real sports heartbreak. I can't imagine ever losing 4 straight Super Bowls in my life. I think I would rather off myself. I would have off myself before the 4th one. I'm not gonna hold you. So they've gone through it. I'm rolling with Baltimore. I think Justin's rolling with Buffalo.
I had Buffalo at the beginning of the year winning the Super Bowl. I mean, this is the Super Bowl right here. This is such a good matchup. It might be the best that we have in the playoffs, depending what happens with Kansas City. This is also the two MVP favorites right here, and both these quarterbacks have so much to prove with their lack of success in the playoffs. I think this is going to be a fantastic matchup, but I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one.
Yeah, man, listen, I will say this, and I do have some video to play. Lamar versus Josh Allen is one thing, but I think who will have a big game on Sunday? This guy right here.
Yeah, obviously cleared the protocol. They get their two big stars back. Meanwhile, there goes Henry. There goes Henry all the way for the touchdown. 44 yards.
Yeah, the Steelers did not want to tackle that man. They just whoop right through.
And quick shout
Your
out
table.
to Al Michaels. I thought he called a really good game, actually.
Yeah, this year, I think it's in part because they've given him better games this year versus, I mean, last year was just brutal for the Thursday night games. They've given him a lot better games, and then they give him a playoff game this year. He kind of turned back the clock on us. I appreciated that.
Quickly on Pittsburgh, who lost 5 games in a row to end their season. Now, Mike Tomlin, everyone, I know you're a big supporter of Tomlin, Josh, but the guy was pretty much handed the team from Bill Cowher, wins that one Super Bowl, and in my opinion, he's sort of like a glorified Marvin Lewis, getting to the playoffs every year, but he hasn't had the success in 15 years as far as winning the big game. What do you expect this guy to do? I mean, he's going to be coveted this offseason. Does he stay with Pittsburgh? Does he go to Dallas? I've heard people say. Where do you expect this guy to go?
While I
can't pass, and why do you think he gets a pass as far as losing?
Two good questions. I'll start with the first one. I can't tell you what I think he'll do. What I think he should do, though, and what Pittsburgh should do, and what any other team that needs a head coach should do: offer up a trade. Say, come correct to the Steelers. How much you want for Josh Allen? Mike Tomlin. You want a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick? Let's make it happen. Like, it would just be best for everyone involved, because the Steelers, yes, they don't have a losing record. They never have had a losing record under Tomlin. I know some people have looked at that stat in hindsight now, especially after what we saw this weekend, and they're like, oh, get out of here. Like, at what point is he going to win a playoff game again? The last time the Steelers won a playoff game was what, 2010? 2016? I can't even remember.
It's been a while since they've had a serious run in the playoffs.
Yeah, so you look at that like, yes, having a winning record every year and making it to the playoffs is cute. They're a little engine that could now. Whether it was Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson this year, who didn't play terrible on Saturday, I thought. Yeah, with all that being said, I think it'd be just best for the Steelers, Tomlin, all parties to move on. I think he gets a pass. Number one, he's a likable figure in the media.
He's well spoken. He's a character for sure.
Absolutely. He's more Belichick than like a Harbaugh, I think, in terms of like seriousness with the media.
Yes, very stoic.
But he's always good for a soundbite like you're talking about. He's just a likable guy, and I think people really fell in love with Tomlin. When he won that Super Bowl, when he was mad young, when he was the youngest coach in the NFL.
I would take him in a heartbeat as the Jets head coach.
Oh, absolutely. Yo, as the Saints head coach, a competent person with a brain as the head coach for the Saints after what I just watched from Dennis Allen. Man, sign me up. Like, there's a lot of teams that would be happy to have somebody that could reset the culture, but I do think at the same time the culture has worn thin, and his message is kind of worn thin in Pittsburgh. I mean, you have George Pickens being late to games, the reports say, and all this stuff. I think it'd just be best for all parties to move on.
The AB got Mr. CTE. You got Mr. CTE ESPN.
I love that this is now the universal signal for CTE. I love this.
You wanna know why I use that? It's because it's the sign for targeting.
For college football, right?
No, for NFL as well.
You're right. I'll give you that.
Look, trust me. You look. I aspired to be a referee one day, so I know these calls.
Is
I
that
can
right?
see you blowing a big point toss. You said what? Ed? What? Where's my point?
I can't wait. I can't wait to be like a little league basketball coach, and like a kid say something crazy, and I just hit him with the look. I've been working on my text. You got this one, the aggressive text. Get out of here. You got the look. You got the tech. Go. I'm working on everything.
I could see it. Corey David, referee, getting just dogged out by the players on the field. What the fuck are you looking at? It's a terrible call.
Holding, 15-yard penalty.
His mic not working.
Illegal receiver downfield. Grounding.
You know it all.
Illegal touching.
Hey yo. All right. We've flown too close to the sun now. Moving on, the Bills did beat down the Broncos, setting up that major game on Sunday. CBS will have that game.
It started off so well for the Broncos, but
oh man,
you knew it wasn't gonna last.
I was starting to believe, bro. I was starting to really see it, and then 31 unanswered points from the Bills. The Eagles-Packers game was really nothing, but we did have this. The Eagles did win despite A.J. Brown having one catch for 10 yards. Look at this.
Brown, well, we're figuring that out. He's a little frustrated. Obviously, he hasn't seen too many.
He went to the LeBron James School of Performative Book Reading.
Is that the first page?
It's not. Okay, so he's a little smarter than LeBron in this regard. He didn't always turn in the first page in front of the media. He's like, I got to sell this a little bit. Let me turn to like 1/3 through the book.
He got a bookmark?
Like I've been in this. I don't see a bookmark there. I'm not going to hold you. Now, like I said, LeBron is the king of performative book reading. Every picture you see of LeBron, if you Google LeBron reading a book, everybody that's watching, just take a step away from the show and just Google LeBron reading a book. It is always on the first page. Like every time. Like he think we slow or something.
I don't know what's going on in Green Bay because that was such a embarrassing performance by everyone involved. I know the coach was very pissed off at his team, and I don't know if I'm fully sold on Jordan Love yet. It's just he didn't show anything on Sunday or whenever the game was, Saturday or Sunday, that made me confident that this is the next successor in Green Bay.
So can I just say something real quick? Saquon Barkley, you have blood on your hands. You ruined my any game time touchdown by you wanting to slide, and you say you don't care about my parlays? If there was ever a reason more of the fact that you went to the Eagles, that why I hate you, just know you ruined my parlay.
You know, Corey, and not even on the betting standpoint, I think it's the dumbest play when you have a lead late. You're up like 4 points, 5 points. In this case, it was 12 points. And you break a run and then you just slide down. Just get your damn touchdown. You're going to win the game anyway. Just let the defense get some more snaps. Just get your stats. Like they always want to be like the goody two shoes. Like, oh, I did it for the team. Remember that commercial, Corey? Remember that commercial with the it was on the basketball court? Yeah, I touched the ball. I touched the ball, coach. Shut up and get your stats. Like, what are you doing?
Could you imagine the ref for that commercial? Like, hey, man, it's a mistake. You can go. Why are you doing it?
Nah, man, it's not right. I touched the ball, coach.
But no. But to go to that point, to go further into that point of going and just get your stats, he don't want to get his stats down. But when he was like, oh, you could break the Eric Dickerson record. Oh, no, I really wanted that record. Oh, yeah, you seem performative now. You wanted that record before, but now when it's come to getting your stats, you don't want them no more?
You guys are so salty. I mean, that was a smart move to do. You guys are crazy.
Nah,
I don't know
man,
who's
get your
gonna
stats.
stop. No one's going to stop Philadelphia in the NFC. They are not.
Really?
They are.
Really?
They are getting to the Super Bowl.
I don't hate that take.
I got them on upset alert next week. I mean, this week.
You think the Rams could come in there and beat them?
Yeah.
Rams were in the Super Bowl like what? 4 years ago.
Can I ask you a question?
3 years ago.
what has always been one of Philadelphia's weak points?
Passing.
The secondary.
Secondary too. But they have talent there now.
They have talent, but they can still. I believe Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and a couple of those guys on the offense could do some damage to that secondary.
My best bet, if I was a betting man, I am. My best bet for this weekend, Kyron Williams, like whatever his over, if he's like over 3.5 total receptions, smash that.
Yo, Josh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the battle. Who will win? Cooper DeJean or Cooper Kupp?
The battle of the Coopers. Yeah.
No, but oh no, I thought it was a battle of another thing.
Yeah. What are you alluding to?
Oh,
Kory?
I'm not.
Cooper.
The
You know what?
Coopers.
Yeah. The Coopers.
I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna look it up.
Here's Jalen Hurts. He said, just to clean it up, you can't really hear the audio, but he did say of AJ Brown reading that book. I've never seen him read. I've seen the book in his hands, though.
Do you think that's his actual Gatorade? He went with the yellow Gatorade.
No, I think that's probably like he's probably sponsored by Gatorade, and it's like he'll just. Speaking of performative, just put this in the podium for your post game interview, bro.
Do you think these NFC matchups, they don't really do anything for me, honestly. They're not sexy matchups like that Buffalo Baltimore matchup. I think it just trumps every other game this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. More on that in a second. But the one good game we had this week actually came from
Very
the
good
NFC.
game.
The Commanders and the Buccaneers. Commanders had the better record, but because the Buccaneers won their division and the Eagles won the NFC East, the Commanders division, the Commanders had to go on the road. Let's hear from Todd Bowles real quick before we get into anything else about his plan to stop Jayden Daniels.
And on defense, how do you limit Jayden Daniels?
Got to get him in long third and longer yardage. You got to win first down. He keeps getting out of the pocket to his left, to our left, his left. I mean, our left, his right, and we got to cut that down.
Thanks, Todd.
Yep.
Our left, I mean, his left, I mean, our right, his left. I don't know what he was going for, but, you know, he just always looks confused. Anytime the camera, exactly, CTESPN for Todd Bowles. He always just looks confused, though. Anytime the camera cuts to him on the sideline, he just looks lost.
He's very Bubba from Forrest Gump, like.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
You know, I was talking about not being sold on Jordan Love, but Jayden Daniels. You know, you had him in fantasy, Josh. He's the real deal. He really is. And you know, when it matters too, it wasn't just. You know, a meaningless drive. He had those, you know, late minute drives, and that's the marking and making of a true champion is when you could perform when there's 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, and you need to get that score.
One second, Josh. We ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna say the team. We ain't gonna say the right hand up.
Left hand up. Who are we?
The
Commanders.
I know firsthand of Jayden Daniels' extraordinary talent. I would have been in the Fantasy Football League championship if not for him in the Saints.
Oh, yeah, like Justin said, I made sure to get him in every league. Y'all know I'm an LSU fan, and he won the Heisman. He was just a pro-ready quarterback, and he was, like you said, Justin, it's a running quarterback age. I just knew landing in Washington with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn, I just knew he was gonna – I didn't know he was going to be this right away. I'm not no psychic with that, but I knew he was going to be good. And then you're seeing clutch too. The Commanders' last 6 wins, all by 1 score, and that speaks to how clutch that kid is. And he did it again.
Yo, Josh, a battle as old as time was once relived this over the last weekend. The great war of Mike Evans versus Marshall Lattimore.
Oh, Marshawn was getting cooked. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Look. Listen,
he was getting
he
cooked.
lost the battle, but he won the war.
How do you win the war?
Huh?
How do you win the war?
His team was going to the play. His team was
Oh,
advanced, brother.
Yeah.
He did have a big tackle on, I think, on Tampa Bay's last drive where they got the field goal to tie it. He did have a big tackle on 2nd down and 1 that forced the Bucs to have to kick a field goal. So he did get he had his moments, but yeah.
The big play was the turnover on the. They were trying to do some sort of trick play, or I don't know if Baker wanted to hand off the ball or didn't want to hand off the ball, or it was going to be a play action. But that was it. That was the game right there.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, that was not his best moment. He did play a very good game.
Got to give Baker his credit. This season, he has revived his career to being I would say what would y'all rank him? I would put him like top 10.
Yeah, higher part of that, 9 or 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's earned it for sure. There's just such a large disconnect between the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks and everyone else, that 6 to 10 range is nowhere close to your Lamars and Mahomes and Allens and whatnot.
That's very true.
It would be Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, and Burrow, right?
Yeah, you got to put it that way. Yeah, that's got to be the 4.
Speaking of the Commanders, here's what happened at the end of the game with their kicker, Zane Gonzalez.
Oh, yes.
Banking this kick in.
From 37 to send Washington to the final 8. The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is in! They fight their way to the divisional round! Unbelievable!
I have seen it all now. I even get a divisional doink. I feel like every time I see a game-winning field goal, it's hitting an upright.
I know we trash on Mike Tirico a lot, just in terms of his Italian heritage, but he is a great play-by-play man. Like,
he's fantastic, and I think Collinsworth gets a lot of crap. I don't think he's that bad as people say he is.
Shout out to my Italian brother.
But yeah, so Zane Gonzalez, he was making a lot of headlines because he had a certain route. Okay, so when a team is driving down the field and it's going to come down to a field goal and everybody knows it, the camera will cut to the kicker. Like, okay, how's the kicker going about his business? What's his routine looking like and all of that? So many people were saying like, oh, because of Zane Gonzalez's mannerisms, he was just he was really nervous. Like, you can tell like he's feeling the pressure of the moment. He's fixing his hair excessively, and it's just like, okay, like he's nervous. And people were saying, I don't think he's going to make this kick in the moment leading up to it. So, yes, here's Zane Gonzalez. In when the camera cut to him, the NBC cameras cut to him, here's what it looked like.
So Washington started the year with Brandon McManus as their kicker. Moved on from him before camp opened, and since training camp, they've had 6 different kickers. The 6th is Gonzalez. The first time he's kicking in the NFL since 2021. These now 6 games for Washington, and he's got a chance to get the Commanders a playoff win. And it has been a long.
Now, when people saw that, it was like, oh, he's tweaking, he's nervous. I did a little like the Leo DiCaprio point to the TV. I was like, that's OCD.
No, dude, that's what it is. And I was gonna say the same thing because I have OCD. He's doing exactly what I would do. He did it a specific amount of times. That I had that exact thought before you said that, and yeah. So this might be my new favorite player as a fellow OCD guy. I'm gonna have to support him. Being a kicker, I just watched that documentary on the Buffalo Bills losing those 4 Super Bowls, and Scott Norwood with the most famous missed kick in all of NFL history. You got to feel for these guys. They're not on the field for 99% of the game, and then they're just asked out of nowhere, like, yeah, win the Super Bowl or win this big divisional, playoff game or wild card game. It's such a hectic job.
I mean, you are a kicker. You don't really do too much, so you just got one job.
But it's a very important job. Think about how many games have been won and lost, not just from kicking field goals, onside kicks. You won a Super Bowl, Josh, because of an onside kick. But punting, it's very important. All facets of the game are important.
Yeah, because can you imagine being a guy who like plays offensive, defensive line, and you're doing all this stuff in practice? You know, getting tackled, getting all this other stuff, and the kicker, all he has to do is make field goals on the sideline, no contact. And so the time that he actually has to do his job, if he misses, you gotta look at him a little crazy.
You know what, Kory? I wish one day. Just picture this game on the line. You're running out there. It's like you're the man in the arena. Everybody's looking at you. And the entire fate of 2 teams, 100 players, even more coaches, all the fans rest
The gamblers.
on the gamblers, the degenerates, they all rest on you making that kick. That's a lot of listen.
Hey,
I'm not shocked. Because the discourse around when it was discovered that he had OCD, and I have the report from Front Office Sports here.
Oh, does he actually have OCD?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Oh,
absolutely
it's confirmed. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's not awesome, but that's cool that there's an athlete out there that has it.
It's a cool moment of representation, and I'm always good for that in sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that struggle, and it's like it's a crippling thing for them. I don't know how many people are familiar with OCD, if they have it themselves, if you know a family member. I happen to know a family member with OCD, so I know how difficult it can be in terms of managing the stress that comes with it, some of the embarrassment that comes with it, because it's compulsive. Like you can't really stop yourself from.
Stress brings it out 10 times more, whether you're dealing with somebody that's like a sick family member or a high pressure game situation. Even me with my stupid bowling league, I couldn't imagine what this guy's actually going through. So I don't know. I think the Commanders might be my team now in the NFC.
Left hand up, Justin. Left hand up. I am a fan of the Commanders, bro. I love watching this team play. I know Kory, the Giants fan. I know Eric, the Cowboys fan, don't want to hear it. But this team's fun, yo. I enjoy watching them play. They have a tough test going to Detroit. But if anybody can give Detroit a game, hang around and see where they are in the fourth quarter, it can be the Washington Commanders. I believe
this is going to be the best game of the week. And my prediction is the Buffalo game is going to not live up to the hype, because 9 times out of 10, these big fights or big games never live up to it. This one has all the makings, especially the lack of defense that Detroit has. This is going to be like a 38-35 game. And God bless that kicker. If he has to deal with another game-winning kick, he might have to go to therapy full time. So I think that's going to be the sleeper game of the weekend.
You saw Tirico talking about it in that video he played. Washington, that was their 6th kicker of the season. They've had injuries and just kickers not living up to their job status or what they should be doing in terms of making kicks. Shout out Zane Gonzalez. That's a cool moment, like I said, for representation for, I don't want to say marginalized, but people that really go through it in terms of having OCD, dealing with it. I mean, this man stepped up. He doinked it in, but all that matters is that it went in, and the Commanders is moving on.
One quick thing, Josh, about the name the Commanders, because I think it's a stupid name, and I'm such a historical guy in the sense that I like when teams that I grew up with, I think we might have talked about this, they make the playoffs. Like, it's as much as I don't like the Cowboys, it's always good for me to see the Cowboys or the Packers or the 49ers, because those were the teams that I grew up with. So having a team that's essentially new in the sense that it's a new name, I don't know. It doesn't sit with me. It doesn't have the historic sense that, oh, the Commanders, like, they've never done anything. I guess they're the same organization, but it's just new to me. So it's not as sexy in the sense that it's, not a historic franchise, even though it technically is. I mean, they've won Super Bowls, but not as the Commanders.
That's wild. Like, if you're a Gen Z football fan, you think of the Commanders, Washington, as just this moribund, rundown franchise, the losers of the NFL. They have 3 Super Bowl titles.
Well, they were always bad, even in me and Kory's lifetime. 90s, they were pretty much trash, except at the beginning of the 90s when they won their last Super Bowl. But, in the 80s, they were no joke. 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different Super Bowls.
Because you had the
And
Hogs.
Joe Gibbs is a great coach, one of those unsung all-timers.
You had the Hogs.
Yeah. And the first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, Doug Williams.
Yeah.
Doug Williams, my guy. All right, moving on to the last game of the weekend, a very uneventful. It was held in Arizona because of the impact that the California fires have had on that community. They had to move the game to a neutral site. I thought it was going to work out great for Minnesota, considering they won 14 games, and all the talk was, oh, it's unfair. They have to go on the road. Well, they had a neutral site. I know it's Arizona. It's right next to LA, kind of, but it's a neutral site. I thought they would have came a lot better than they did on Monday. That was pathetic. And Sam Darnold. So, Justin and Kory, are you familiar with the Vikings broadcasters on the radio?
No.
Nah.
Is it anyone famous?
I know the play-by-play man is named Paul Allen.
Okay.
This is a great call right here from one of the 9 sacks that Sam Darnold took on Monday night. Here's a radio call of one of the bad ones.
Behind him, Aaron Jones, Addison in motion to the right. 2 receivers left. Rams blitz. Darnold gets away from it. Steps up in the pocket. He's holding it too long.
Just run.
Throw it, man.
Just run.
At the 25-yard line, he's sacked for a 5th time.
All he's
Throw it, man.
He's so angry. He's like my uncle.
Now, I'm very, very familiar with these broadcasters because, as you know,
can I
what's up, Kory?
Why would you be known? Why would you be familiar with these
was there a certain game that happened?
Let me show you an example.
Now he fires over the middle, intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter, near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line.
2009 NFC Championship.
I can't believe what I just saw.
looking at that play. He should have just held on to it, Paul. He should have. He could have easily gotten 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward.
But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
He sounds like a wrestling announcer.
He does, right?
He sounds like Mark Madden or one of those like 90s or the TNA announcer that they used to have back in the day.
Josh, do you have a clip of the game? You know what game I'm talking about. It was another Minnesota Saints game.
I don't know what you're discussing.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna play actually.
I don't. It's not clicking to me. I don't know why it's not coming in my memory. I'm sorry, but I do have another call from Paul Allen.
The season's on the line. 2 receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs.
Oh man!
So we like this guy. I think he's great.
So we're not gonna play the Minnesota clip. We're not gonna play Minnesota Trayvon Diggs OT
again. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you would want me to play that right.
You see, he woken it up already. Woken it up.
Okay, woken it up. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. What play could you be discussing? I don't know. Beats me.
You know who he kind of reminded me of, that broadcaster that I think it was like Trae Young just a couple days ago. He shot like a crazy buzzer beater. It's like, no.
Oh, the jazz announcer, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget in the Olympics, just as we're discussing like unhinged play-by-play calls, when Steph Curry hit like those 5 straight 3-pointers in the fourth quarter to bring home the gold, and the French broadcasters are just like, "Oh, the devil named Curry is killing us," and they were like speaking it in like hyper speed French. I'm like, yo, this is great. This is great.
Nothing shocks me with Minnesota, though. As I was saying with the Chargers, how they just have all these monumental losses. The Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if there's a more heartbreaking sports organization.
You brought up the while we were on the kicker topic, and you brought up Scott Norwood. I mean, Gary Anderson back in 1998, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that last show. It's just that's Minnesota for you, and you feel for these people. they haven't won anything. I don't think their hockey team, the Wild, won anything when they were around. The Timberwolves have won jack squat, and the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl. So they're just a city of losers. The Twins, I guess, won a World Series back in the early 90s. So it's been like almost 40 years since they've had any victory.
And then now every year they make the playoffs, they run into the Yankees and they just got they get their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Every single time. It's crazy.
Darnold just lost out on a lot of money though.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was looking like, he was really looking like $100 million quarterback. He probably still might get that, but
just 100. I thought he was gonna get like 4 for 180. If Daniel Jones got 4 for 160, I thought Darnold was gonna get 4 for 180.
You was gonna get paid. He was gonna get paid. But
now, I think he's down to like maybe 3 for 90. Like
hey,
he lost a lot of bread.
I think the upside's there. I still think he's a decent middle of the road quarterback, top 15.
Hey, my new agenda is, right? Hey, Sam played horribly in that game. Man, we shouldn't pay him that much. Hey, Giants, you make that little trade. You give him a cheap man.
You want to sign Sam Darnold?
Hey, we ain't not getting Shador. We're not getting Cam. We could go draft Travis Hunter and with the chips for what they need.
Okay, I don't hate it personally, but I know there's Giants fans watching that want to shoot you in the head right now for suggesting that.
Look, either him or Kirk Cousins.
you want Kirk Cousins, or what's left of him?
Who else we gonna get?
I mean, you could have had Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr.
Could have
you could have had Penix Jr. last year.
Could have Jaden Daniels if he listened. If Joe Shane listened to his son.
No, you could have had Jayden Daniels or Drake May, who I really like. If Tommy DeVito ain't do what he did and go on a meaningless 3-game winning streak. But hey, Kory, at least the vibes was hitting, right? Right.
Why you bring it up? Why you want to hurt my feelings? Why you want to hurt my feelings? I feel like
it's low hanging fruit.
I feel like Penguin in that scene. Like, what are you showing me here? What are you showing me?
Before we move on to other matters, I do want to read off this report from Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports. Jordan Schultz not named in the FS1 lawsuit, by the way. He's good people. Sources: Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has spoken with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders about the team's head coaching vacancy. Oh, man. And discussions are expected to continue regarding the possibility of him becoming the next head coach in Dallas. Justin, certain things are just too predictable. I mean, who didn't see this one coming a mile away?
I think the days of being the head coach of the Cowboys, which was so important back in the day. I mean, the Tom Landry to Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells having to stay there. It's lost its mojo, sort of like to compare it to the, being a Yankee. It's just not what it once was. It's not everyone's dream. But if there was a team that would sign Deion that loves that circus atmosphere, they kind of go hand in hand with one another.
Jerry Jones and Deion have a great relationship, as evidenced by this tweet from Adam Schefter. This is a direct quote from Deion Sanders when he spoke to ESPN on Monday night. Quote, "To hear from Jerry Jones is truly delightful and it's intriguing. I love Jerry and believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing. But I love Boulder, Colorado, and everything there is about our team, the coaches, our student body, and the community." Kory, you calling cap, or you believe what Deion's selling right here in terms of wanting to stay with Colorado?
I believe he wants to stay with Colorado. The only way he would ever even think about going to coach the Cowboys is if they were to get Shador and Shiloh. And yes, he is going to he is like LeVar Ball in essence, with the son that ain't supposed to be in the league. He's gonna get him into the league. Shiloh should never even touch the NFL field grass, but he will try his best and darnest to get him signed onto a team.
I mean, LiAngelo Ball laid down the blueprint for Shiloh. Come out with a hot track, put it on World Star, signed by get signed by Def Jam. Whoa,
You know he is a
whoa.
rap. You know he is
He's good.
You know he does music, right?
Does he really?
Yeah. Do you remember they had
There
a
you
little
go.
reality TV show?
I don't remember that. No.
Deion had a reality TV show. He knows Snoop Dogg personally, so Snoop Dogg actually, I think he produced something for Snoop Dogg actually.
Do you think Deion's game? Because I mean, how many college coaches have just crapped the bed over the years? It's very rare that you get a Pete Carroll that can do both. Is he a coach? Because I don't watch college football. Would his ability to coach be something that could be successful?
I think, Justin, what you've seen from Colorado in terms of number one, he knows how to hire good assistants. Like he knows how to build a staff that serves his team needs.
Yeah, but Jerry wouldn't allow him to have say in that matter. Probably, I would assume, right? Isn't Jerry so hands-on with who he wants?
But
That's an interesting dynamic to watch, though, because you have two strong-ass personalities. I think Deion will have a say over his coaching staff, but I don't know what more
I'm
he
gonna tell
would
you.
have a say over.
I think Deion will be able to get what he wants as far as coaching staff and stuff because people forget Jerry already succumbed to Deion before. Pause. I want to play both ways. Do you know what Jerry let him do? Play both ways. Let him play receiver and corner. And he played substantial roles at receiver. He wasn't just no guy you just throw out there. And then he actually, at one point, when Michael Irvin was suspended, he was their starting receiver. Like he was like the top guy on the depth chart at receiver and corner.
And by the way, Kory, Deion, I know he's all flash and dash in prime time, especially in his playing career, but he knows football. He is as intelligent a football mind that has ever lived.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Why people believe he could possibly coach on that level, because normally you have people who don't respect certain coaches and stuff like that. You gotta respect Deion because he did it at the highest level, and he is at arguably, one could say, the best at his position of all time, like the best corner of all time.
You can make an argument he's top 5 greatest athlete of all time. What he did with baseball.
Yeah,
he played in a World Series. People forget, and played football.
People know he could have been the MVP of that World Series if they won.
Yeah,
insane athlete in his prime. No pun intended. Exactly. But yeah, lastly, you see the way he's just a natural born leader of men. You know what I mean? He can really rally. He could be a coach. He could be a mega church pastor. He could do whatever.
He already was that. He was that. Look, no offense. There's a video of him, praying over certain celebrities. I ain't gonna woke it up and say the name, but the videos are out there.
yo, one thing about Kory David, he doesn't always air out your dirty laundry, but he gonna keep it in the closet. Just
and
when it's time to strike,
smooth,
then he
let me tell you how smooth Deion is. Deion is so smooth that he coaching, right? He was coaching, had a TV show on Tubi, and released the Amazon documentary. Deion gonna make his money. But
that's why, like this Cowboys job, he said it's intriguing. I know he loves Colorado, but I know for a fact he's gonna think long and deep about this.
My problem with him going to Cowboys is the fact that he just landed one of the top quarterbacks in this as a prospect to come to Colorado, Juju Lewis. You don't mess that good faith up of the fathers and not have him come in and at least try to do something and lead this kid onto the pathway to success the same way you did with Travis. I think that's kind of the same kind of deal. It's like, Travis's family believed in Deion to lead their kid to success. That's why they trusted him with going to Jackson State. That's why I believe that Juju Lewis' parents are trusting Deion to, get their kid up to that next echelon level, because Juju could have went to USC, already was committed. But, they believed in Deion and his message, and I think that Deion stays just those 3 years probably to get Juju to the league.
It's going to be interesting always with Deion Sanders, but and the Cowboys. But like I said to Justin to start the segment, this was one of the most predictable things. From the Cowboys' slow start to now. I mean, who didn't see Deion Sanders interviewing with the Cowboys coming? It was like inevitable. So gonna see what happens with that. We're winding down. I do want to spend the last couple of minutes roasting a few people. Y'all remember Jontay Porter? Y'all recall that name, right? That was the basketball player that got banned for life from the NBA for betting on his own games.
Josh, not every middle child could be a LiAngelo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Jontay, the brother of Michael Porter Jr., most notably for the Nuggets, and they had another brother that unfortunately passed away. But Jontay Porter, so again, he's been banned. This is old news on that standpoint, but this came out via Mike Vorknov of The Athletic. So you see that Jontay Porter, they have his text that he was sending to his co-conspirator bettors during a live basketball game where he said, again, this is the whole story behind this is Jontay Porter, what rang alarm bells in the NBA league office was that he played, then he sat out the entire second half of a game with a weird eye injury. And then he did the same thing or a similar thing in March of last season. So look at these texts. He says, I went back to the locker room to get eye checked on. IDK if I'm going to play much more. I'm not starting second half. But if it's garbage time, I'll shoot 1,000,000 shots. Bro, I will take it back to the Charles Barkley quote when the Jussie Smollett, or as Dave Chappelle calls it, the Juicy Smoothie, that whole controversy. I'll take it back to the wise words of Charles Barkley. Do not commit crimes with checks. Number one. My remix, don't commit crimes with texts. You know what? Meet in person. I maybe I watch a little too much Sopranos or The Wire in my childhood, but meet in person. Do whatever you got to do. Do not commit crimes with texts. Don't do it. Like, think it through. If you're Jontay Porter, like these are documented things you're sending people. Kory, you remember that? Speaking of The Wire, you remember that quote from Stringer Bell? Is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? Like, yeah. What are we doing? God rest his soul. He's not dead. He's just stupid, Jontay Porter.
Yeah, he's just stupid. Like, but wait, time out. I didn't think I would do it. I thought this gimmick was done for the day. Defensive attorney Kory. I'm a defender. I'm a defender.
Oh,
he is being responsible towards his better. Unlike Saquon Barkley, who's going to slide and cost his anytime touchdown parlay betters. You know what Jontay did? He was looking out for us, the regular guy, the guy who works 9 to 5. You know, he's like this. I'm doing this for y'all.
You know what, Kory? Maybe it's because I've been watching too much Suits. But I don't think that argument's going to hold up in court. I just doubt it. I don't have faith.
Guess what? Everyone, look, he likes to me, he likes Spider-Man in that scene where everybody was like on the train when Spider-Man was on the train and everybody was carrying him. Guess what? Many people might not know who you are, Jontay. And people might not care. But we know what you sacrificed for us.
And he's got a lifetime ban from the NBA to show for it. But you know what? He fell on his sword for the good of the people, right, Kory?
Yeah. Not too many people were willing to go that length. But he showed us that when times are hard and people need to make money, I'll be there. And they say that a hero save us.
Kory singing Nickelback. Did not expect that.
Wow. Yeah, you can't do nothing but respect it. Lastly, so Kory's favorite athlete of all time, Caitlin Clark.
Does this get shaboing boing? Because that guy was crazy. He's a crazy shaboing boy.
You know what? I wasn't gonna give it out because I don't like doing the shaboing boing with criminal activity.
No,
But you know,
no.
but you
We
did
ain't gonna
wake it
woke it
up.
up.
You
We
did
ain't gonna
wake
woke
it up. You sure?
We're not gonna woke. Not gonna woke it up.
The whole
We're not
segment,
gonna woke it up with loonies.
no, no, definitely not. That's what I was thinking. Me and Kory on the same page with that. All right, so Caitlin Clark, a great rookie season, enjoying her off season. You know what I mean? And well, while all that was going on, she had a stalker. You know, it's always trouble, and Justin knows this. Just going through American history, the three first names, you know, or the three names or the middle name, like John Wilkes Booth, obviously.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. So let's bring in Michael Thomas Lewis.
Hold on a second. Can I just say one thing? You said there's a problem with people with three first names.
Yeah.
No, just the three names. You know, the
three names. Yeah.
The middle name being
does Kory, Nathaniel, David fall into that kind of context?
I could see that in a headline.
Yeah. Kory Nathaniel David, 30 years old, from Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
Whoa, skip. No.
Well, Kory, I did say you're a huge Caitlin Clark fan, but you are not the stalker.
Yeah, hell no.
That would be Michael Thomas Lewis from Texas. This man traveled from Texas to Indiana to, quote, be closer to Caitlin Clark, end quote. Michael Thomas Lewis sent her sexually violent messages through Twitter/X. Continued to do so even after Clark filed a police report and law enforcement was notified. And then, as he's arrested and charged, here's how Michael Thomas Lewis gonna act up in court.
Morning, Mr. Lewis.
Guilty as
No.
Guilty as charged. That's one way to open your court proceedings. But let's keep watching. There's more here.
Sir, this is initial hearing. We are not. You have a right to remain silent, and I expect you to exercise that. Okay, this is just telling you what the charges are. You do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. Not your time. Stop talking. You have a right to know what your charges are. You're charged with stalking as a level 5 felony.
Level 5 stalking. Let's just go back to one little quote that I don't want to gloss over.
Stop talking.
Right here.
I'll give you a chance to talk. Not your time. Stop.
Throw me the bookie.
Wait, what did he say?
Throw me the bookie. This guy's he's not right in the head.
They all have a certain look. Like he's giving the Charles Manson sort of vibe.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't look innocent.
I want to give props to Caitlin on the fact that how she handled this, because it wasn't in the media. People really didn't know about it until just now. And so people had this whole preconceived notion that, you know, Caitlin doesn't have anything to worry about, and she just gets to be able to play basketball, unlike her counterparts. No, she goes through stuff. It's just that she doesn't have it plastered in the media.
You know what, Kory? While you're going full defense attorney, I will back you up on this one because Jamel Hill, you're familiar with Jamel Hill, a sports writer, right?
Miss Deleted. Miss Deleted.
You know where I'm going with this. And again, the whole WNBA discussion, it was so loaded the entire season. I'm not going to delve into that now. But when it comes to Jamel Hill saying that Caitlin Clark is not facing harassment like her counterparts in the WNBA, and then this comes out, and then people go back to that post, and it's like, well, what you got to say now? And you delete it, you're a clown. You are a clown. Because I get it. Like, Caitlin Clark is the, to use a phrase that I personally love, the white knight coming into the WNBA with a fully black or mostly or vast majority black, vast majority all that league. Like, again, if you want to speak up for the players that have paved the way for Caitlin Clark to be a part of the WNBA, so be it. But what we're not going to do is just distort narratives, and even worse, when push comes to shove and the rubber comes to roost, and it's time to stand on your words as a journalist that Jamel Hill is, a journalist. You threw that rock months ago because you were so certain that Caitlin Clark wasn't facing the same type of harassment that her counterparts were facing based on Caitlin Clark's fans and all that talk about her and Angel Reese, blah, 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 blah. She was getting stalked this entire time, filed a police report, like Kory said, handled it very well, kept it quiet, but now people don't want to. And I'm not seeing a lot of sympathy for Caitlin Clark neither. I'm just going to say that.
She will never get sympathy. We know why. The world know why.
And I guess we'll leave it there. But
I ain't going to woke it up.
No. I think we got your message loud and clear, bro. Yeah, like I hope this show delivered on its promise about a lot of unhinged things taking place. The TikTok ban, we'll see how that plays out on Sunday. We'll see how Trump's inauguration plays out on Monday. Go ahead, Kory.
Josh, I do notice, even though we about to leave, just want to notice. I noticed you attacked. I noticed we went on an attack with Drake, but ain't nobody say nothing about that Diddy situation. Look, they're quiet.
What would you like to say, Kory? You have 30 seconds. Go ahead. What would you like to say on the front of Diddy?
Hey, I'm just gonna say it's about to look real crazy. I think some might get off.
Yeah, okay. You're making me want to pull up the report last minute. Because I do have it. The where do I have it here?
Well, I'm not gonna woke it up. There's a lot to that case. Man.
I'm not gonna make y'all read this, but it does say that the Diddy's lawyers are alleging that the 9 freak off tapes that the government has in possession don't actually show Diddy committing any crimes. Like, I'll give Kory credit, like Kory has been saying, while everyone's just deemed Diddy guilty, and he is don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he weird.
He weird, and his ticket to hell is already signed, sealed, and delivered. But in terms of this case, Kory has been saying he doesn't see criminal charges sticking.
My whole thing before we go has just been the fact that there's only really one true defendant in this case. I mean, there's only one true person like in this case who's like deemed to be the victim, and that's Cassie. All the other people that they're alleging and people are accusing and stuff, none of the federal government has not. I mean, nobody has went to those other people. So those cases are like, as right now, just claims and case, like nothing to be substantiated yet.
And if there's nothing on those tapes that the government has, and Diddy's lawyers are right. By the way, Diddy's lawyer and Luigi Mangione's lawyer are husband and wife. Just want to.
Well, how?
Whoa.
Yes.
Really?
Husband and wife. Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Small world.
And they're in the same prison too in Brooklyn. So small world.
You know who's also in the same prison? Just throw a little spice in it.
Who?
6ix9ine.
Oh, how could we ever forget 6ix9ine?
just to throw add up the randomness.
Right. Imagine the conversations that those three could have in that prison.
Well, yeah, that's my piece. That's my piece. I'm done.
Nah, no doubt. That is the Recess Bell Show, January 15th. Year of our Lord 2025. Thank you to Justin Greenberg of Film Reel. Stay tuned for that episode hitting this weekend. Kory David of a show TBD. But yes, he is the star on-air personality here. Joshua Umahi, the Recess Bell CEO. We thank everybody that tuned in and watched on Twitter, YouTube. Had some viewers on Facebook. I forgot I even streamed this to Facebook. I forgot about that. Shout out to everybody that listened. We'll have the full video on YouTube, up on YouTube shortly. And of course, the Recess Bell podcast, the Film Reel podcast, and all that good stuff. All right, everybody say peace for the night.
Peace out.